As for Sasuke, why does he like to argue with Suigetsu? No one could remember what happened between them that made them dislike each other. The situation in the northern stronghold of Dain Shikwak is very different from the situation in the south. The appearance is somewhat similar to the desert area of Fong Chikwak. Although there were no strong sandstorms here, it was still a vast expanse of nothing but trees. Just every few dozen meters away, there is a small mountain several dozen meters high, towering over the seats, able to block some of the strong winds. 3,000-meter distance. Just a few minutes later, Naruto and his group had successfully arrived. What came into view was a watchtower on a mountainside more than 10 meters high. Only the watchtower above did not have any guards. Moreover, the area around the fence above was still stained with a large area of never-before-seen bloodline. Looking at this, something happened. Guren's eyebrows slightly furrowed as he spoke in a low voice. Karen's expression was equally serious, and she nodded slightly. That's right, this stronghold is completely different from the one I manage. Karen's mouth is different. Everyone here knows what it means. On the way inside, Karen and Guren, the two girls, had already explained to the boss. This northern stronghold, compared to Karen's side, is even more difficult to manage. Because the people in prison here are all those heavily armored products. Those guys were as important as me. The higher the probability of a riot occurring here, the greater the possibility of those prisoners escaping. Let's go. Let's go in and see first. Naruto volunteered again, passed through the guard post's main gate, and headed straight inside. The design of this fortress is somewhat similar to Karen's, except it's bigger. Break! When Naruto once again swung out a punch, smashing the main door with one punch, he only saw that inside was filled with corpses wearing prison clothes lying everywhere. The ground was stained with Kurenai's blood, filling the entire space with an unpleasant smell of blood. There are also some people who, although still alive, are in a barely alive state. They won't be able to hold on for long before they die. How could this be? Who killed these people? Guren's face was filled with horror, an unimaginable look on his face. Karen, immediately feel a little, is there really any existence of me in here? Naruto said, quickly pressed forward, found a slightly injured man squatted down, and immediately began to use healing ninjutsu to give him first aid. I know. Really, you don't use that kind of commanding tone. Karen complained a bit uncomfortably, raised her hand to push the eye frames on the bridge of her nose, then closed her eyes and began to sense the situation around her. About 10 seconds later, Karen opened her eyes again, somewhat surprised, shaking her head. No, this place completely cannot sense my presence. How could that be? You said he wasn't here? Sasuke asked hurriedly. Karen nodded slightly. That's right. Since we can't sense his presence, it proves that he's not here. There's also a possibility that he's completely dead here, so we can't sense any aura. Karen's words made everyone here a little surprised. It's not like there's no such possibility. This place is full of corpses, and at first glance it looks like they just died not long ago. The most likely possibility is that these experimental seals had a riot here, and in the end, no one knows which powerful guy killed them all. You guys go up and see if there are any other clues. Naruto still had green chakra energy wrapped between his hands, compressing it on the man's chest to heal it, then turned his head and spoke to the others. I know. Everyone knew the seriousness of the matter. Without saying anything more, they nodded in agreement and quickly walked towards the other places of the prison, dodging and jumping away. In less than a moment, Naruto successfully stopped the man's fatal chest wound, allowing the bleeding to stop and the wound to close. Hey, wake up, wake up! Naruto stroked the other person's cheeks and shouted loudly. The man's face showed a pained expression. He slowly opened his eyes, looked at Naruto with some confusion, and weakly asked, You are? Oh, Naruto was not prepared to talk nonsense with this person, nor did he have the choice to answer his question, asking in return, Quickly tell me, what exactly happened here? Who beat you up like this? The man's eyes were dazed for a moment, then fear appeared in his eyes. His body trembled violently, struggling to get up from the ground. It's Kabuto. It's Yakushi Kabuto, that guy transformed into a half-human, half-snake monster. And after charging into the base, he started slaughtering us. He's a devil who kills without blinking an eye. Kabuto? How did he get here? Naruto's eyebrows furrowed, unable to figure out why he had become like this. Could it be that back then, at Orochimaru's base, Yakushi Kabuto had been hiding in the shadows, quietly eavesdropping on Naruto and his group's conversation? when Naruto led people to the southern base. Kabuto went alone to the northern base and killed all the people who had copied the cursed seal. Thinking carefully, it is not impossible that this kind of possibility exists. Moreover, this kind of possibility is the biggest. Otherwise, how could Yakushi Kabuto have rushed to this place so early? At this time, Suigetsu and Girin and the others also ran back, all of them spreading their arms out, showing that they had not gained anything. Sasuke said in a low voice, "There are corpses everywhere, just like those people in the hall. They just died less than a day ago." Suigetsu nodded. "That's right, even if he's still alive, he only has one vein left." Naruto turned his head and looked at Karen, revealing a questioning expression. However, only Karen was able to sense the presence of that unusual chakra in me. Karen shook her head. "No, you don't need to look at me. It's still the same as just now. I don't feel any presence of me." Hearing this, Naruto helplessly sighed. "Looks like this trip was a waste, mixed up by that Yakushi Kabuto guy." "Yakushi Kabuto?" "Naruto, you're saying that these people are all done by that bastard Kabuto?" Hearing this name, Girin reacted the most. She really hates Yakushi Kabuto right now, her teeth itch. Hearing Yakushi Kabuto appear, her first reaction is to want to kill him. "That's right, it's him. I guess that Kabuto was hiding to the side at the underground headquarters earlier and eavesdropped on our conversation." Naruto nodded and said. At this time, the man who had recovered from Naruto's treatment raised his head and looked at Naruto and the others, opening his mouth to ask, "Wait a minute, are you guys looking for me?" "That's right. Do you know his news?" Naruto's eyes revealed a trace of joy. It seemed that saving this person was not in vain. The man nodded slightly. "Yes, you guys don't need to look. I saw with my own eyes that half-human, half-snake monster Kabuto captured me. Speaking of which, that Kabuto guy is really a freak. Even if he opened a cursed seal on me, he could still subdue me in an instant. After that big Hakuja bit me, I immediately fainted. Then I saw my big Hakuja roll me up and drag me towards the outer base. At that time, I was really gasping for breath. I don't know if this guy is just a talker. He just talked nonsense and even mentioned his feelings. Fortunately, he had a bit of meaning in his words, and everyone understood after listening. Trongta was captured by Yakushi Kabuto and is not dead yet. What should we do now? Naruto. Suigetsu looked towards Naruto and asked. Girin and the others looked back in unison, waiting for Naruto to make a decision. Naruto frowned, thought for a moment, then said in a low voice, "Forget it. Let's go back first. That Kabuto guy is always cunning and sly, and he is careful in his actions. He won't let us find him so easily. It's a waste of time to stay here with him. Why don't we go back to the Land of Waves first? I'll take Yukimaru to my master's place and let him help me with the treatment." Hearing that he wanted to treat Yukimaru, a trace of gratitude appeared on Girin's face. Along this path, Girin was constantly worried about Yukimaru's safety, afraid that he would suddenly die from a sudden attack of poison. But fortunately, Naruto did not lie to her. Other than occasionally waking up a few times and eating some food and water, Yukimaru spent the rest of his time lying on the back of the five elements, unconscious and sleeping soundly, with no signs of life danger. Mizuki looked a little expectant as he stepped forward and said, let's go. Naruto, I really miss you talking about a party. To tell the truth, I have been trapped in that transparent bottle for the past few years, relying on those nutritional liquids to sustain my life every day. And I have almost forgotten what real food tastes like. Really didn't expect that the first meal would be Karen's hydroponic fish soup. How boring. Shut up, Suigetsu, you bastard. Are you going to hit me? Karen clenched her fists, looking like she was about to rush up and hit Suigetsu. Suigetsu opened his mouth again, but was hit by Karen and turned into a waterfall, rushing down. For this pair of enemies making a scene, Naruto and the others were not surprised at all. Along this road, I don't know how many people I've met. At first, Naruto still advised a bit on the price, but later on he completely ignored it. On the contrary, these two people were just joking around. Good. Everyone, hold hands and form a circle. I will carry you all up. Naruto waved his hand to signal his teammates. Before leaving, Naruto looked towards the man he had saved and said, Little brother, after you recover your strength, quickly leave this place. Don't come back to a place like this again. After saying that, Naruto led his companions and disappeared without a trace. As for this stronghold, there were still quite a few injured people inside. Not all of them died. Naruto could not afford to treat them all. Naruto is not a savior. There is no need to save everyone's lives. Conveniently, naturally can bring goodwill to save a shot. But really wanting to see any person in trouble, all want to go up to perform rescue, then is no different from the Holy Mother monster. Ah, disappear? Is that the teleportation technique? The man stood there, stunned, looking at the place where Naruto and his group had disappeared. A moment later, his body recovered some strength. He then supported his body to stand up towards the place where Naruto disappeared, deeply bowed to express his gratitude. Transform. Outside the Tazana house on the lawn, Inari was standing under a willow tree, practicing the transformation technique Haku had taught him. As a white mist exploded above him, Inari's appearance suddenly changed. An orange sports suit, a head of blonde hair. This is clearly Naruto's outfit. But no matter how he looks, he doesn't look like Naruto. He looks like a 300-pound bulky fat man. Wow! Under the eaves, several figures suddenly appeared, just in time to see Inari inside using the transformation technique. Ichikaru couldn't help but gasp. Hey, Naruto, who is that guy? The transformation technique he used looks a lot like the one you used to abuse him. Sujetsu covered his stomach and laughed nonstop, his mouth casually teasingly saying, Karen, Guren, and the others all looked at Inari with smiles on their faces, somewhat interested in this little guy. Don't make fun of people. It will destroy a child's positive nature. Naruto glared at Mizuki. Brother Naruto, you guys are finally back. Inari naturally heard the conversation between the few people, her face slightly red. He immediately discovered Naruto. The joy in his heart melted away the shame, and he quickly walked over here. That's right, come back. Inari inside is great, so work hard to practice ninjutsu. Naruto chuckled, rubbing Inari's head. But your transformation technique is not used properly. The amount of chakra released cannot be too large. I want to try to control chakra more precisely, so that the transformation can be more perfect. Inari inside nodded vigorously. Yes, Naruto big brother, I will definitely try my best. Naruto, this wooden house is the one you mentioned from the Wave Country Ninja Village? To be honest, it really is a bit simple. Karen glanced around, taking a look at the back room, unable to help but reveal a trace of disgust in her eyes. This was not as good as the demeanor she had previously used to manage the base. Naruto shook his head. This place is just a bridge repair master's house. We are staying here temporarily. Saying that, Naruto pointed towards the small pond opposite a large mountain and said, Do you hear the sound of knocking over there? There are hundreds of deputy architects over there. Right now our ninja village is building a new project. I believe it will be completed soon. By then we can all move in. Suigetsu raised his chin and nodded slightly. It seems like what I said before was right. This Naruto guy is really rich. He built the ninja village himself. This is quite a sum of money to spend. While the group was talking, a beautiful figure quickly ran out from the corner of the wooden house. She was panting nonstop. Her small face was also red from running too fast, and she ran straight towards Naruto. Black hair, pure white pupils, lovely face. Is Hyuga Hinata, who day and night looks forward to Naruto being able to return a little earlier. No. Hinata stopped in front of Naruto, her face filled with excitement that was hard to hide. She originally wanted to throw herself into Naruto's arms, to ease the pain of missing him these days, but because there were so many eyes looking at her, her face was covered with a shy expression. Hinata, how is it you must miss me a lot, haha. Naruto didn't have that much scruples, and wasn't afraid of the ridicule from behind. He immediately pulled Hinata into his arms, hugging her soft skin tightly, and lowered his head to sniff the fragrant shampoo scent that remained in Hinata's hair. Hinata buried her head in Naruto's chest, softly mumbled, her face turning even redder. How could she not want it? These days she was looking forward to Naruto's return. After these days of recuperation, Hinata's injuries have completely recovered. Just when Hinata was cultivating Byakugan in the back mountain, she happened to see Naruto and his group returning, so she immediately rushed back. Naruto, you this guy? Are you making us non-existent, little lover or something? Wait a moment, and then chat. Shouldn't you first greet us, these guests? Suigetsu was the first to open his mouth. Seeing Hinata's shy personality, he deliberately opened his mouth to tease her. Karen, who had always been incompatible with Suigetsu, also unusually supported him and said, That's right. Naruto, this guy, unexpectedly fell in love at such a young age, causing trouble for someone's little girl. Really shameless. A bunch of single dogs, no right to speak. Naruto's mouth revealed an evil smile. He turned his head to the other side and scanned the people behind him. Immediately, the others were all gnashing their teeth in anger. Suigetsu and Karen looked like they wanted to rush forward and stop Naruto. Only the 5 honest people blocked Naruto behind, looking like if you dare to attack Naruto, I will also be impolite to you. Naruto, you just came back. Tsunami, who had been busy with housework in the room, also heard the movement outside the room. She peeked out from the door and saw Naruto. A smile appeared on her face. Naruto nodded slightly. That's right, Aunt Nami. These are all my friends. You greet them first and come in and sit. All right, everyone, no need to be polite. Come and sit down. Tsunami agreed, then waved her hand to greet Gurren and the others. She had long considered Naruto as her own family, so naturally she was very polite to Naruto as her friend. Naruto-kun, let me go, everyone is looking. How embarrassing. Hinata Kurenai's face was like a tomato, looking extremely adorable. She tentatively wriggled and struggled in Naruto's chest a few times, but never thought that the softness of her chest would make Naruto's heart burn with desire. And the small arm around her waist would instead use even more force. Naruto's face was full of ugly smiles. No, I won't let you escape easily. Since you're afraid that it'll be inconvenient for others to see, then let's not let others see. Say it. Naruto immediately activated the Flying Thunder God technique, taking Hinata with him and disappearing under the eaves. Next, in the blink of an eye, the two appeared several hundred meters away in a dense forest. This place was previously sent by Kohru Udatane to monitor the Umbu ninja. Naruto chased those people away here, conveniently also leaving the Hiratian mark here. Therefore, this place is extremely hidden. On the contrary, no outsiders know about this place. Moreover, it was already nighttime. Only the dim light from the sky penetrated through the leaves, illuminating this forest in the middle. In this kind of extremely subtle environment, it is very suitable to do some bad things, such as, for example, as soon as the two of them appeared under the big tree, Naruto couldn't wait to hold Hinata's small face, instantly pressing his red lips against hers. Oh, Hinata was caught off guard by a sneak attack and instinctively wanted to fight back. But how could her slender waist be hugged tightly by Naruto's 2 big hands? And she forcefully hit Naruto's shoulders a few times, but it didn't have any effect. In the end, she could only give in to Naruto's despicable attacks, and was kissed until her breathing became more and more rapid. Very quickly, Hinata only felt her body becoming more and more limp and powerless, gently leaning against Naruto's chest, letting the other person's 2 big hands roam all over her body. Naruto, no, we can't be like this right now. When Naruto gently put Hinata down on the ground, preparing to escape Hinata's clothes, Hinata suddenly grabbed his hand. Naruto instantly regained his composure, took a few deep breaths, and then tried to calm his agitated heart. I'm sorry. I was too impulsive. Naruto gently helped Hinata up from the ground, the corner of his mouth carrying a hint of apologetic smile. It's okay. I don't mean to be mean to you. It's just that we're not adults yet. We can't be like this. Hinata gently leaned her head against Naruto's chest, speaking softly. I know. Naruto surrounded Hinata's soft body, buried his head deep in her hair, quietly enjoying this wonderful moment. At this age of love, there is indeed a tendency towards premature love. But who let the Naruto world children mature early? At the age of 5 or 6, they already know to have feelings for the opposite sex. At the age of 16, they are considered adults. Strictly speaking, 16 years old can officially get married. Naruto, where did you two go? Come back for dinner. Before long, Tsunami cries rang out. Naruto looked through the gap in the woods towards Tizana's house and saw Tsunami standing under the willow tree by the lake, loudly shouting. In a dead end, Naruto had no choice but to bring Hinata along and activate the Flying Thunder God technique again, returning to the wooden house under the eaves. Aninami, we are here again. Where are you running off to? Tsunami was a little stunned. Huh? You guys have been there all this time? I just came out. Why didn't I check on you guys? Let's hurry up and go eat. Zabuza and Haku and the others have also returned from their training. Good. Naruto nodded, took Hinata's little hand, and walked towards the inside of the room. In the living room, Inari and Tizana, grandfather and grandson, were serving food to the table, preparing the bowls and chopsticks. But Gurren and the others were not familiar with Zabuza at all. Although everyone was a ninja, and Zabuza's reputation in the ninja world was still very famous, there was still a bit of embarrassment and restraint. Everyone sat on the sofa without saying anything. It was also Suigetsu, that fearless guy, just came out from a toilet after seeing Zabuza. Immediately his excitement skyrocketed. Senior Zabuza, I really didn't think I would actually see you here. Zabuza turned his head to look at Sujetsu, a bit stunned. Who are you? Ah, Senior is really heartless, no matter what. We have met a few times, and you just forgot about me like that? Sujetsu immediately became discouraged, his head drooping as he stomped on his brain. Naruto quickly stepped forward and introduced. Zabuza, that guy is Sujetsu. According to him, he was in office with you in the Hidden Mist Village. Do you remember? Zabuza looked at Sujetsu in surprise, then suddenly understood. You are Sujetsu? How did you get here? Not recognizing Sujetsu, it really wasn't Zabuza's fault. The two of them had indeed met before. But that was when Sujetsu had just graduated from school not long ago and successfully joined the Umbu branch, and had only had a few contacts with Zabuza. Although Sujetsu's talent is outstanding, Zabuza himself is also a genius, so of course he wouldn't take a brat younger than him too seriously. Sujetsu then smiled with satisfaction. Finally thought of it? This is a big deal. I was captured by Orochimaru. Sujetsu saw his fellow countryman Senior. His emotions revealed unusual excitement, and began to talk about what happened after he left the Mist Village. Naruto saw a group of people looking at the two people talking, so he quickly shouted, Everyone come up to the table and eat. Let's talk while eating. The rich man was also hungry. Without saying a word, he stood up and followed Naruto to sit at the dining table. The tycoons themselves are ninjas. Of course they won't say anything polite. Moreover, they were all teammates that Naruto invited back, and they were already prepared in their hearts to stay in this place for a long time in the future. During the meal, Sujetsu kept winking at Naruto, signaling Naruto to help him ask Zabuza about borrowing a large sword to behead him. Naruto was not stingy. He told Zabuza about the actual situation, and Sujetsu had to challenge him to borrow a sword. Zabuza heard Naruto open his mouth without any hesitation, happily agreed. On the other hand, Tizana also brought Naruto good news. During these days when Naruto was away, Tizana continued to work on the construction of the ninja base's rooms and added many new workers. Roughly 2 months left. The other side can be completely finished. 2 months? Kodo Amatsukami can finally use it. Naruto secretly muttered in his heart, unable to help but feel a little expectant. Kodo Amatsukami can invade a person's brain, permanently altering the other person's will. Wait until I have this technique later. So who should I use it on? Use for Tsunade? Let her wear the rabbit girl maid outfit and act cute in front of me? Still using it on Ino? Let Ino wear a sexy nurse uniform and show off her seductive outfit in front of him? Or for Conan to use? Let Conan wear sexy black thread, pick up the candle whip. No. This is really too evil. How can one have such evil thoughts? Naruto repented in his heart. It must be because he just had intimate contact with Hinata that made Naruto have these shameless thoughts. Yes, it must be. After dinner, at Tizana's spacious house on the lawn, Naruto and his group saw these two water-release villagers from the mist fighting hand-to-hand. Suigetsu, although young in age, but this part of strength is indeed very strong. Mizu's Shunshin technique was so perfect that he could always find the right timing to launch an attack on the opponent. Zabuza also has his own strengths. Although he has recently gained great results from practicing 8 gates release technique, he has not used this overbearing physical technique of 8 gates release technique against the junior. From the beginning, he relied solely on the water clone technique to prevent Shursui from suddenly attacking, using the mist concealment technique again to fill the surrounding with dense fog. He activated his own silent suppression technique, winning against Suigetsu. Senior is senior. I really still have a lot to learn in my cultivation. The thick fog slowly dispersed. Suigetsu walked out from the fog, shaking his head helplessly in admiration. What? From the beginning you said such a solemn oath? I thought you could really defeat Mr. Zabuza. Karen cut in, immediately emitting a mocking sound. Harming Suigetsu with such a good opportunity, she probably wouldn't easily miss it. Zabuza also followed the mist out, with a faint smile on his face, helping Suigetsu to get out of trouble, and said, Suigetsu is not bad. To be able to achieve such things at this age, I believe you will be able to surpass me very soon. Naruto, who was standing on the side watching the battle with his arms crossed, saw clearly the two people's battle through his Sharingan's observation of chakra. In fact, under normal circumstances, Suigetsu and Zabuza's strength should be evenly matched. It's just that Zabuza has a large decapitating sword, making Suigetsu a bit passive every time he attacks. In addition, Suigetsu's combat experience was indeed a bit lacking compared to Zabuza, which was why such a situation occurred. Experience can be made up through fighting and training, but for talented people, Suigetsu still wants to be one level above them. Good. It's okay. Everyone get some rest early. Early tomorrow morning Girin will bring Yukimaro with me to Konoha. The rest of you stay here. It's time to cultivate. It's time to prepare for the ninja village disperse. Naruto waved his hand, signaling everyone to leave, then immediately turned around and headed towards the second floor. Wind country. Outside the sand village, a gale swept through the air, sweeping sand everywhere. If someone were to pass by here without covering their mouth and nose, they would probably not be able to walk normally. But this place's harsh environment and situation, for the people of Fengchi Quoc, had long been accustomed and adapted. Outside the sand village, thick walls were built up section by section, specially designed to deal with sandstorms. Ever since the last time the sand village encountered an Akatsuki member who was sneak attacking, the Jinchuriki was blatantly kidnapped from the village. The sand village's seniors and advisors all went all out, not only increasing the number of defense personnel on the village's outskirts, but also building many tall watchtowers on the already towering walls. The sand village upper and lower levels received strict orders. Air defense cannot relax the slightest. All through sand village airspace Vu tribe. If this place has never appeared species, must immediately fire warning shots. This is not, even at night. Each watchtower above still has a long-range shooting light, continuously shooting and patrolling into the sky. The watchtower raised its head and looked up at the night sky. The Sand Ninja group all had sore necks. They couldn't help but reach out and rub the back of their necks. They talked to each other and let out quite a few complaints. I feel that our Sand Village's higher-ups are really making things up. Building these watchtower defense structures is completely useless. I see more than half of it is like this. Those damn advisors basically don't understand the real situation. Doing these things is also doing a psychological comfort. If anyone can really jump in from the sky at this midnight, then we're the ones. This far-sighted lamp, can it see? The watchtower increased a lot. These ninja group guarding the city, the amount of work also increased. Immediately increased. The whole group naturally felt a little dissatisfied in their hearts. But what they said was absolutely true. Even if these far-sighted lights have a chance to come into play, you probably don't know when the enemy will come to invade the village, right? On the south side of the wall, at the entrance to the room, two sand ninjas, one on the left and one on the right, stood straight, solemnly holding their positions. Suddenly, a black-robed figure slowly approached from the darkness, causing the two sand ninja to immediately become alert. Hey, stop. Don't come any closer. The black-robed figure obediently stood there, not making any further movements. Just as the other two sand ninjas' eyes revealed doubts, wanting to step forward to investigate. Who is the time? A large aloe vera fruit sprouted from the ground. The aloe vera leaves rapidly spread out to both sides, revealing a half-black and half-white Haku figure inside. Crackle. Zetsu, great, without saying a word, quickly grabbed the two people's necks the moment he used force. Bring two people, throw crushed. Is it really that troublesome? If you want to save Sasori-sama, just tell me to use explosives. The art of bringing this place to be baptized once again. Along the way, Sasori the elder brother was saved. Star. In the darkness, a figure standing still and motionless slowly walked forward, coming to Zetsu's back, and said with great dissatisfaction and complaint, Deidara, you don't mess around. Listen to the boss's arrangements. Let me do the job of saving Sasori. You just need to stay by the side and assist me in providing cover. The black Zetsu's low voice rang out, although it did not carry a commanding tone. But these words did not leave much room for retreat. Good, I know. Deidara waved his sleeve indifferently. According to the plan Zetsu, absolutely, mentioned earlier, the two of them entered the village together. Deidara was responsible for going to many places to bury grenades, setting the time to detonate them, attracting the attention of the Sand Ninja. Zetsu, absolute, is responsible for infiltrating the Sand Village and bringing Ninasori to the camp to rescue him. For this kind of stealthy mission, Deidara is not too fond of it. He is more inclined to use your own explosive art. Take away the enemy's life. Let the enemy live. Out of the pot of fear. But no matter who gave the order to the Akatsuki organization leader, Deidara could only obey. At Zetsu's absolute, coordination down, Deidara followed the white team and infiltrated the village together. Internal Sand. Not long after, rumbling explosions were heard from all around Sand Village, accompanied by waves of blazing flames, causing the originally calm village to once again fall into chaos. Black Zetsu is a real underground master, wanting to invade the enemy's camp and rescue A. Only Sasori's left position is left. It's not a difficult task at all. Approximately more than an hour later, Black Zetsu and Deidara had successfully completed their mission and appeared more than 10 miles outside of the Sand Village. At the same time, Deidara also held a glass bottle in his hand. Inside the bottle was a long, round tube. Round tube, four sides have many vibrating meridians. Front that is really, to Ninasori word, revealed more clearly. I really didn't think of it. Adasori big brother, originally Zetsu Absolute, told me you originally. It's just a small tube. I still can't believe it. I didn't think it would really be like this. Likati. Deidara kept stroking the round tube in his hand, his mocking expression showing that he was completely clueless. Have a way to hide. He used to feel that Sasori was very mysterious and also somewhat terrifying. But now, after meeting Sasori's true form, the previous feeling of mystery was no longer there. Deidara, you bastard. Although I am very grateful to you for saving me. But, if you keep talking nonsense, wait until my body recovers, then we'll want you to die this doghead. Sasori was contained in the jar, being swung back and forth by Deidara. Feeling very upset in his heart, anger was about to erupt at the border. Black Zetsu asked in a deep voice, Sasori, how is it? You must not have revealed Akatsuki's secret, right? Sasori coldly snorted. What do you think I am? Will I easily submit to Grandma Chio? This kind of thing is of course impossible. Zetsu said, but this is really too good. The boss was originally afraid that Sasori would reveal the matter. Then Akatsuki's plan would have to completely change. In fact, this time while thinking of a way to rescue, Yahiko also gave another order to Zetsu, absolutely alone. If Sasori really did reveal his secret, then he would definitely raise suspicions to the organization. Akatsuki secretly orders everyone, and at the same time completely eliminates them all. The moon-seeing plan cannot afford any mistakes if it really goes on like this. Sasori has a problem on his hands. Even if Sasori dies 100 times, it will be difficult to escape punishment. Hey, brother Sasori, you are still as fierce as ever, but the truth must be told. Your puppet's secret has been revealed. After your body recovers, will you really still have the strength to fight? Deidara lifted his chin and looked at the bottle in his hand and asked. Sasori coldly snorted. Deidara, you really think puppet masters are weak? Although I don't know why the Nine-Tails assistant knows my puppet's secret. But, as long as it can make me successfully recover my body, I will create more wonderful things. Error recovery. Next time, I will definitely chop that brat who brought Uzumaki Naruto into pieces. Pieces. Sasori was very upset, and thinking back, he always felt something was wrong. It's like Naruto already knew his puppet's weakness, so he can always find an opportunity to defeat it. This made him even doubt once that it was not him who had an insider, that someone had revealed his secret. But thinking back carefully, the secret of the puppet, except for himself, was no longer known. Anyone else knows. This made Sasori extremely frustrated, but at the same time his hatred towards Naruto grew even more. Much deeper. After being captured by Grandma Chio and returning, Sasori secretly accepted. As long as he can give him a chance to get out alive. Next time, he must definitely defeat Naruto. Morning. Hokage building office on the second floor. Tsunade squinted her sleepy eyes, reluctantly pushed open the office door, walked to the office chair, and sat down. So sleepy. Although I'm used to working at such an intensity these days, but Tintin working so late, it's really tiring me to death. Tsunade covered her mouth and yawned, somewhat dissatisfied, and complained a few words, lying on her stomach on the desk, still wanting to squint her eyes again. Shizen hugged Tanin in her arms, following closely behind Tsunade as she walked in, looking at Tsunade with a serious expression and said, Lord Tsunade, you can't be so depressed, quickly cheer up. Today's official business is much more difficult than yesterday. I know really. Tsunade complained a little impatiently, but still obediently sat up straight, stroked her face, and tried to make her brain more awake. After these past few days of succeeding as Hokage, if it weren't for Shizen constantly urging her on, Tsunade really felt that this Hokage herself might not be able to do it. looking at the side of the desk with a specially made Hiraition kunai stuck in it. Tsunade thought of Naruto's figure and said to herself, I wonder what that Naruto guy is doing. There's been no news of him for a while. Shizen smiled. What? You want that disciple to love you so quickly? I remember it seems like it's only been less than half a month since we last met. Is that so? Tsunade was stunned, carefully recalling a bit. What Shizen said was still the truth. The time between handling the reinforcements to Sand Village until now had only been nearly 10 days. Wow! Suddenly, 3 figures appeared beside the desk. 1 male, 2 female. The boy with blonde hair, wearing an orange sports outfit, the corner of his mouth carrying a trace of a calm smile, was Naruto. The boy stood beside the little girl, holding Naruto's hand tightly. She had short black hair with bangs cut to the forehead, and a pair of pure white pupils that were a bit bewildered. She turned her head and glanced around. But it was Hinata who hadn't returned to Konoha for a long time. Another woman was wearing a green robe. Her appearance was extremely beautiful. In her arms was a 7 or 8-year-old child. She was worried about Yukimura Girin. Master, you remember me so quickly? I really heard it just now. Naruto said with a smile. Naruto, you really appear as soon as you were raised. Even Hinata is back. Tsunade was startled. Very quickly a smile appeared on her face. Naruto-kun and Hinata, we meet again. Shizen greeted with a slightly melancholy smile. Choking, Tannen cried out twice. Seeing Naruto seemed to also appear exceptionally happy. Hinata obediently turned to Tsunade and bowed, saying, Yes, Lord Tsunade, Senior Shizen. Long time no see. Naruto nodded slightly. That's right, Shizen Senior and Tannen, they're all doing well lately. Very good. It's just that Lady Tsunade has been quite busy with official duties recently, and she's exhausted herself to death. Shizen said helplessly. Naruto looked at Tsunade and asked worriedly, Master, no matter how busy you are, you still need to take care of your body. It's okay. Don't listen to Shizen's nonsense. I'm fine. Tsunade waved her sleeve indifferently, immediately looking towards Girin. When she saw Girin in Yukimura's arms, a trace of surprise flashed in her eyes. This child seems to have been poisoned. Naruto, what are you doing? Tsunade raised her finger and pointed at Girin, as well as the Girin in Yukimura's chest. Her eyes filled with doubt. Naruto smiled faintly. Master is indeed worthy of being the strongest ninja in the ninja world. Without even examining him, I already knew he was poisoned. Tsunade's forehead broke out in cold sweat, and she laughed and scolded. Brat, don't be so mean to me. That child's lips are purple and his face is pale. Anyone can see that he was poisoned. Naruto nodded slightly, not intending to continue talking nonsense, pointing at Girin and introducing her. Master, this is Girin, my newly invited comrade. As for the child in her arms, he is Girin's closest relative. I hope you can take action and help me save his life. Girin turned around slightly and greeted Tsunade, saying, Good Lord 5th Hokage, I am Girin. I hope you can help this child. His life is too pitiful. Tsunade nodded slightly, not immediately agreeing, just looked at Naruto's frowning face and began to evaluate. After a long while, until Naruto felt his heart tremble slightly, she smiled and said, Naruto, you really are becoming more and more unfathomable. The Leaf Village has been sending people to search for Orochimaru's base, but I didn't expect you to find it first. Naruto felt a little upset in his heart. You guys are so blindly searching for a method. Of course, I, who have seen the original work, am not as fast as you. However, Naruto did not dare to say that. He just explained with an honest expression. Actually, I also accidentally found out that Orochimaru's base is right in the land of Dain. When I went to find him, I happened to run into Girin's squad. It was Girin who brought me here. If you don't believe me, ask her. Saying that, Naruto raised his hand and pointed beside Girin. Girin immediately nodded in agreement. Yes, we ran into Naruto-kun in the woods. He was willing to help me rescue Yukimaru, so I was willing to follow him. Tsunade nodded slightly. It seemed that Girin's words had somewhat convinced her. Shizen put Tannen in her arms on the ground and hurriedly said, Naruto-kun, since you know Orochimaru's base, please tell us the exact location. After all, Orochimaru stole a lot of forbidden techniques from Konoha back then. Konoha ninja still need to go investigate. This is of course no problem. Naruto nodded slightly. Orochimaru probably doesn't have any forbidden techniques in his base, but those advanced medical instruments. as well as all kinds of experimental medicinal liquids and materials, should be of great use in Konoha's medical treatment. Speaking, Naruto's eyes revealed a pleading look towards Tsunade. Master, will you help me with this? Quickly save Yukimaru. After all in this world, I'm afraid only you can save him. Tsunade was extremely upset. She had been so busy with Konoha's official duties these past few days that she was almost exhausted. Think really good go, bet money overnight addicted. All have no chance go. Now on the contrary, this disciple has found himself a big boy. From the child's expression, it could be seen that saving him would require a lot of effort. But Naruto's pleading little gaze made Tsunade feel that there was no way to refuse. This disciple had outstanding medical talent, and she really liked him very much. Moreover, saving a child that only Tsunade can save is also a kind of challenge. All right, I really can't help you. Don't look at me with that kind of eyes. I didn't say I wasn't willing to save him. I knew Master was the best. Naruto chuckled, and then laughed again. Tsunade opened her Byakugan. Kid, don't just flatter me. If you have time, learn medical ninjutsu. If you grow up quickly, you won't need to bother me with this kind of thing. As she spoke, Tsunade also stood up, walked to Girin's side, and pushed Yukimaru's eyelids open to take a look. This guy, being able to survive in this state is truly a miracle. Girin was a little shocked and hurriedly asked, Lord Hokage, what do you see? Can Yukimaru still be saved? Tsunade gently stroked her chin. He must have been injected with a drug that activates his body's potential for a long time, but this drug contains a deadly poison, and it has been corroding his body ever since. If it were an ordinary person, they would have died from this kind of torture long ago. But this child is a complete exception. Naruto on the side heard and nodded. Tsunade is indeed a medical expert. She quickly saw the problem inside Inari's body. Of course, Naruto didn't say these words on the spot, nor was it to flatter him, but to truly admire Tsunade from the bottom of his heart. If I remember the original script correctly, Yukimaru should have been noticed by Orochimaru because he could control the tailed beast's power and brought him back for experiments. And Tsunade just said that Yukimaru's body was injected with drugs for a long time. These must also be done by Orochimaru. The purpose is to activate Yukimaru's body's power early. Orochimaru may not be as enthusiastic about the tailed beasts, but don't forget that he is a science fanatic. How could he let go of such a rare child with a body like this? Hearing Tsunade say these words, Girin, like Naruto, admired Tsunade even more. Girin also roughly understood the actual situation regarding Yukimaru from Yakushi Kabuto's mouth. Roughly the same as what Tsunade said. Perhaps Tsunade did not mention whether it was possible to save Yukimaru. This made Girin feel anxious, once again asking, Lord Hokage, are you sure you can save Yukimaru? This kind of poison is nothing more than a small problem to me. Tsunade glared at Girin, slightly annoyed, and let out a soft snort. She was a little unhappy with Girin's lack of confidence in her own strength. Naruto also saw that Tsunade was joking and said hurriedly, Master, don't be angry. Girin is just worried that Yukimaru is impatient. It doesn't mean she doesn't believe in your strength. Tsunade waved her sleeves indifferently and said calmly, saving him is relatively easy. I just need to perform an operation to extract the toxins from his body and research the type of toxins. Then we can find a treatment method. But, Naruto, you must prepare yourself mentally, because the toxins have been settling in his body for a long time, penetrating his internal organs and bone marrow, so he needs to recuperate in Konoha for a very long time. Naruto nodded slightly. Of course, as long as we can save it, that's fine. Girin's face was excited, and he kept turning to Tsunade and nodding to express his thanks. Thank you, Lord Hokage. Girin didn't care how long she stayed in Konoha. As long as she could save Yukimaru, she would be satisfied. For Yukimaru, the loss was really too much. She hopes that in the future, she can make it up to Yukimaru well enough. Shizen, you take this child to the operating room first. I'll be there in a moment. Tsunade instructed Shizen. I understand, Tsunade-sama. Shizen nodded, walked forward and received Yukimaru from Girin's hands, turned around and headed towards the office's main door. Tsunade then looked towards Naruto and asked, How is it? Naruto, Hinata, and that one. Tsunade's eyes looked towards Girin. Because she couldn't remember his name, she paused for a moment. Kurenai-lan, right? Are you three going to wait outside the operating room with me? Or are you waiting here for news? Naruto was a little silent, helping to correct his words. Master, her name is Girin. Not Kurenai-lan. Tsunade's face showed a trace of shame. Her voice was upset. Hateful. I know. What are you planning to do with this place? Naruto held Hinata's little hand and said with a smile. Master, I brought Hinata back this time to go see the Hyuga clan. She hasn't seen her family for a long time, so I'll let Girin go with you. Tsunade was a little surprised, but still had no intention of stopping him. Is that so? That's good. The Hyuga clan still has resentment towards you kidnapping Hinata. Naruto, you brat better be mentally prepared. I know, master. Don't worry. Naruto nodded in response. Naruto and Hinata's love relationship was something Hyuga Hayashi had already tacitly approved. Tsunade said resentment. Probably just Naruto brought Hinata without saying a word and left. This is not the case then. Hinata was captured by that old Ine Danzo, and a series of events happened behind Naruto's back to save Hinata. Furthermore, at that time, Konoha was attacked by foreign enemies from all sides, and the Hyuga clan's ninjas were also out fighting. Even if at that time, under emergency situation, Naruto brought Hinata back to Hyuga family mansion, he didn't have the chance to see Hyuga Hayashi. Right? Naruto-kun, don't worry. I will explain everything clearly from beginning to end to my father. This is not your fault. Hinata seemed to have realized Naruto's thoughts. She held Naruto's hand tightly, comforting him. Yes, thanks to you. Naruto smiled, and then smiled again. Hinata was really meticulous. With her explaining, things would be much easier. Then let's go. Tsunade greeted Girin, then immediately headed out towards the balcony door. Just as she reached the mouth, she turned her head back and said to Naruto, Naruto, there is one more thing. This time when you return, you cannot go around with your previous appearance. After using the best transformation technique, bring Hinata back to Hyuga. I know, master. Naruto nodded. Tsunade's meaning, Naruto is very sympathetic. Long ago, when Shikamaru and the 6 of them went to the Land of Waves, they had already told Naruto that the villagers of Konoha still had deep resentment towards Naruto. Naruto and Tsunade having a good relationship is one thing, but this does not mean that Tsunade can act naturally as Hokage, allowing Naruto, this traitorous ninja, to come and go as he pleases in the village. After all, Naruto's identity is too sensitive. It will create a lot of unnecessary trouble. Watching Tsunade and Girin leave, Naruto used transformation technique, transforming into an ordinary villager. Hinata, then let's go too. Yes. Hinata nodded, also using transformation technique. Wow! The Flying Thunder God technique was activated, and the two disappeared into the office. Next a blink of an eye, Naruto and Hinata appeared under the large locust tree outside the Hyuga clan. Before leaving the village, Naruto hid in a locust tree, keeping it hidden until now without anyone discovering it. Because of the complicated prevention, the two people also had no choice but to go through the main door, but climbed the Hyuga clan mansion's surrounding wall, climbed the wall, and entered the inner courtyard. This place is Hinata's hometown. She is very familiar with every tree and blade of grass. How to avoid the patrolling Hyuga clansmen. How to follow the small path to enter the clan leader's backyard. Hinata clearly understood everything. Not many minutes passed, Naruto and Hinata had already reached the backyard. Along the empty corridor all the way forward, then came to a martial arts training ground outside the door. At this time, the martial arts training ground opened up, and waves of somewhat immature children's soft shouts continuously came from inside the house. Naruto's cat waist probed and walked over to take a look. In the ground of such a large training ground, there were rows of wooden cross stakes. There was only one 7- or 8-year-old little girl, seriously practicing soft fists, pounding out faint marks on the wooden stakes. The little girl has long black hair and wears a loose white kimono. Even though he only saw a silhouette, Naruto still recognized her immediately. She was Hinata's younger sister, the next generation head of the Hyuga family, Hyuga Hanabi. Hyuga Hanabi let out a soft shout, turned her head to look. Her face was clearly covered with blue veins. While practicing her soft fist, she had actually simultaneously entered her Byakugan state. Those two sneaky guys outside the door naturally couldn't escape this pair of 360-degree eyes. But Naruto and Hinata at this time had both transformed into ordinary villagers. Hyuga Hanabi was unable to recognize their identities. Hanabi, it's me. A white mist exploded. Hinata canceled the transformation technique, changed back to her original form, ran slowly, and rushed into the room, looking at Hyuga Hanabi with an excited expression. Hyuga Hanabi's eyes flashed with surprise, but immediately happily threw herself into Hinata's arms. Sister, why are you back? Yes, I came back to visit you and your father. Hinata touched Hanabi's head, her face full of joy. Hanabi has grown quite a bit lately. Hearing this, Hyuga Hanabi's eyes filled with excitement. Is it okay, big sister? Ever since you were taken away from the hospital that time, we've been extremely worried. Even father hasn't eaten for several days. Always worried about your safety. Hinata's eyes flashed with guilt, and she said with some helplessness, It's my fault. I should have gone back and told you guys, but the situation was urgent, and the Konoha village was in chaos. So after Naruto-kun rescued me from the base, I went with him. Naruto-sama? Hyuga Hanabi escaped from Hinata's embrace, turned her head to look at the figure at the gate, and said with a bit of doubt, He isn't Naruto-sama. Naruto still stood at the entrance, watching the two sisters reunite, and did not go up to disturb. Only when Hanabi mentioned herself did she cancel her transformation technique and slowly walk into the room. Hanabi is really smart to have guessed it so quickly. Hyuga Hanabi wrinkled her little nose and snorted. Who else could it be besides you who could suddenly bring back your older sister? This kind of thing is very easy to guess. Ah, like this. Naruto scratched his head, awkwardly smiling. It seems that the children of the Naruto world are not only precocious in terms of love, but also very precocious in terms of brain development. The same normal 8-year-old child, still at the age of only knowing how to play with mud, where would he consider so many things? Hyuga Hanabi crossed her arms with both hands, putting on a very angry look, muttering to herself, Big brother Naruto, you kidnapped my sister without saying a word, and now you dare to come back like this. You should be prepared to welcome my father's wrath. No, is it that serious? Naruto looked helpless, looking towards Hinata for help. Your little sister has such a petty personality. I can't handle her. Hinata covered her mouth and smiled, reaching out to stroke Hanabi's head again. Hanabi, don't glare at me like that, Naruto-sama. Is your father home? Hurry up and help me find him. Only then did Hyuga Hanabi retract that expression on her face and nodded, saying, All right then, considering my sister's face, I will let you go first. Speaking, Hanabi's mouth revealed an evil smile. However, Naruto big brother, I haven't had such a good time this time. You must treat me to 30 bowls of noodles, then I will forgive you. Naruto looked confused. 30 rounds of punching, and he can chase? This isn't a kid's mentality, right? Okay, no problem. I'll give you as much as you want. Naruto quickly agreed. Hanabi nodded slightly. Yes. However, if you want to secretly take me out to eat, you can't let your father know. Having said that, Hanabi then smiled and walked out the door, heading towards the hallway on the right. Until Hanabi left, Hinata smiled and explained. Hanabi is the future heir of the Hyuga family. Her father has always been very strict with her and doesn't allow her to eat outside snacks at will, so she made such a request to you. Ah, so it's like this. Naruto suddenly understood. No wonder this little girl threatened Naruto for half a day, but in the end asked for 30 handfuls. About 5 or 6 minutes later, footsteps came from outside the room. 2 figures, one tall and one short, walked in from the door. The tall man wearing a kimono, long black hair hanging down to his shoulders, with the same pure Byakuya eyes as Hinata, was Hinata's father Hyuga Hayashi, and Hyuga Hanabi timidly followed behind Hyuga Hayashi, obviously like a good child, not at all like the previous noisy appearance with Naruto. Father. Hyuga Hinata saw his father again, feeling a little agitated, but Hinata only bowed deeply to Hyuga Hayashi without much intimacy. Just because Hinata knows, father has always been a person who pays great attention to etiquette. Even with the closest person, he will not show too much intimacy. Uncle Hayashi. Naruto did not forget the etiquette, bowing towards Hyuga Hayashi. After all, he is the future father-in-law, so respect and courtesy are still required. Yes, go back. Hyuga Hayashi didn't have much expression, glanced at Hinata and Naruto, then led Hanabi straight to the training room, kneeling down on a futon. You guys sit down and talk. Dateline, asterisk chart. Hayashi pointed to himself across from him. Naruto and Hinata glanced at each other, then walked over to Hayashi and sat down across from him. Father, I'm sorry for making you worry earlier, but that day Naruto-kun and I suddenly left. There was a reason for that. Hinata was about to explain, but Hyuga Hayashi waved his sleeve and said, No need to explain. Hanabi just told me that Danzo sent someone to capture you that day, right? Hinata nodded slightly. Yes, father. Hyuga Hayashi nodded slightly, then immediately turned his gaze towards Naruto. Naruto, Hinata is lucky to have you saved her. Naruto scratched his head and smiled. Uncle Hayashi, don't say that. Hinata and I have a special relationship. Saving her is naturally the right thing to do, moreover. Danzo's purpose in capturing Hinata was to force me to think of a way to save her. Hyuga Hayashi's eyes flashed with surprise. There's also this matter. I thought that Hyuga had somehow offended that Danzo. That's why I would do such a thing. What exactly happened, Naruto? You tell me in detail. Naruto really told Hyuga Hayashi everything from beginning to end about that day of the Chunin exam, including Danzo's plot to seize the Nine Tails, as well as Danzo and Orochimaru in between cooperation with Danzo behind the third Hokage against Uchiha under the Black Hand, all carefully each list. These things are all top secrets only the high-ranking members of Konoha Village know about. Even though Hyuga is a great clan, every time the Leaf Village holds an important meeting, Hyuga Hayashi will come to attend. But these confidential matters, even Danzo and the third Hokage's confidants were kept in the dark. Few people know, but Hyuga Hayashi naturally has no way of finding out his whereabouts. After hearing everything, Hyuga Hayashi's originally relaxed eyebrows furrowed into one. Chu Shuyan really didn't think this behind actually involved so many. So wrong. Although I knew early on that there were some dark activities behind Konoha, I didn't expect that the third and Danzo know how to do such evil. As he spoke, Hyuga Hayashi let out a heavy sigh. Although it is said that the Hyuga clan is the #1 clan in Konoha, this #1 status is not the same as the first clan. In general, the Leaf Village gave it to Hyuga, and under the circumstances of the Leaf Village, he himself was unable to. Too much talk. He knew these things later, except for adding to his troubles. There is no good place either. Naruto also saw Hyuga Hayashi's worry and said in a low voice, Uncle Hayashi, don't worry, Danzo is dead. The third Hokage also passed away that day. Now the successor to the fifth Hokage is my master. She will take good care of the entire Konoha relationship. Hyuga Hayashi nodded slightly. Is that so? I also vaguely heard some rumors about you and Tsunade-sama having a teacher-student relationship, but I didn't think it would be true. For this little guy Naruto, Hyuga Hayashi really felt very satisfied, not only outstanding natural talent, and also meticulous in all aspects of matters. All handled not bad. Although Naruto kidnapped his daughter without a word, he did not leave a good reputation in Konoha. But this is mostly because Naruto is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki in the village. The villagers originally had prejudices against Naruto, and Hyuga Hayashi was very clear about these matters. Clear. Thinking of these things, Hyuga Hayashi's mouth corners unconsciously showed a trace of a smile. Hinata, where are you two living now? Is time still passing well? Hinata nodded slightly. Father, we are now living in the country of waves. Naruto-kun is preparing to start establishing a ninja village on the other side, and has already summoned quite a few. Help! Hyuga Hayashi's eyes showed a trace of surprise, and he laughed. Naruto really has ambition. To think of establishing a ninja village in a place like the Land of Waves. That's not an easy thing. Not to mention establishing a ninja village. Training a ninja is very difficult. It takes many years of time just to establish an ordinary village, including building houses and providing food, clothing, and accommodation, would cost a fortune. Maybe Naruto could make such a decision at such a young age and transform at the same time. Action. Hyuga Hayashi felt that he really did not see wrongly this. Future son-in-law is not bad. Thinking back to when he first knew Hinata and Naruto were close, he even, still hesitating in his heart, he wanted to use Hyuga's relationship to force the two people together. Split. Right now Hyuga Hayashi only felt a little lucky. He really did make one wise decision, also did not oppose the two people, otherwise such a one would have. The little guy's ability, I'm afraid, is completely at odds with Hyuga himself. Hyuga Hanabi sat to the side, listening to the people talking about political matters, unable to help but frown deeper and deeper. Although she liked the young master's page, she was still only 8 years old and could not understand these profound topics. Seeing that the few people were still chatting, she suddenly stood up, pulled Naruto's arm and said, Big brother Naruto, big sister hasn't seen father for a long time. Let's let her accompany father to chat for a while. You come with me to go out for a walk. Naruto was pulled to stand up, somewhat reluctantly. Hanabi is afraid that Naruto will agree to her holding him, so she wants to drag Naruto out to walk with her. Not waiting for Naruto to reply, Hyuga Hayashi somewhat reprimanded with authority. Hanabi, don't be reckless. Your Naruto big brother's divine status is sensitive now. You can't be careless. In the village, import and export will cause a lot of trouble. I know. Being severely scolded by her father, Hanabi immediately drooped her head and rubbed her brain. Uncle Hayashi, it's okay. I'll go out with Hanabi to play a bit. It's fine if she doesn't look like before. Naruto hurriedly helped Hanabi out. Now that he had met his future father-in-law, he should explain the matter clearly. Like Hanabi said, it's time to save some time for this. With father and son, Hinata and Dateline chart, Hayashi reminisce on their own. Oh my, that's great. Hanabi heard that. Her excitement was extinguished, once again starting to burn brightly, her eyes revealing anticipation as she looked towards Hyuga Hayashi. Hyuga Hayashi then nodded in agreement and said, Okay, I'll allow you to accompany Naruto out to play for an hour, but in the afternoon you'll have to practice for an extra hour. No. Hanabi cried without tears. Originally thought that today her sister returned, she could escape from that arduous training, but she didn't expect that in the end there was still no way to escape. Naruto was also on one side. Hanabi was silently remembering. Hyuga was the next heir. It was really too much. Hard. Fortunately, Hyuga Hayashi previously felt that Hinata's personality was too weak and unsuitable to be the next heir, so he put all his energy into Hanabi. If Hinata really becomes the Hyuga heir, there will be no way to become a ninja. School. No way to have contact with Naruto. Naruto-sama. Let's go. Hanabi was still a kid at heart, even though she had just still worried about the afternoon training, but thinking about it, I can eat it right away. Like snacks, immediately excited again. She grabbed Naruto's hand and quickly ran out the front door. Hinata. Uncle Hayashi, see you again. Naruto was pulled forward and turned around to greet the two. Just a moment later, two figures, one tall and one short, walked on the bustling street. One was Hyuga Hanabi, the other used transformation technique, transforming into a guy. Normal villager appearance Naruto. It was just past 10 o'clock at noon. Most of the shops had just opened not long ago. It was a long way from having such a variety of night market snacks. But Hanabi didn't care at all. Just being able to go out to eat something and look around was precious to her. Naruto-sama, I just heard you founded a village? That's right, survival outside requires teammates. Naruto big brother. So, when are you planning to get married with my sister? It's too early. Right now you and I are still young. Like this, then Naruto big brother. Will you often bring your sister back to see me in the future? Brother Naruto, next time you come back, you still have to take me out to buy delicious food. Hanabi is still the same as before. Lively and active, likes to ask Naruto random questions. Even though her mouth is stuffed with all kinds of snacks she just bought, she still can't stop her little mouth. Seeing Hanabi like this, Naruto couldn't help but reveal a trace of a smile at the corner of his mouth. This is the kind of nature a child should have. The previous little adult's personality shouldn't belong to this kind of little girl. Although Hyuga Hayashi's training method could make Hanabi's strength progress very quickly, it also had the meaning of rushing things, leaving Hanabi with an incomplete childhood. However, this could also be something that the Hyuga clan's heir needed to bear, and Naruto didn't want to get too involved. Without realizing it, Hyuga Hayashi gave Hanabi an hour deadline and quietly passed. Following not far behind, a Hyuga clansman began to urge, Miss Hanabi, it's time, we should go back. Atita Zofast? This is so boring. I haven't played enough yet. The smile on Hanabi's face stiffened. Then she immediately drooped her head and rubbed her brain. Naruto stroked her little head and said with a smile, Okay, you go back with him, or else you might be punished by your father. Hanabi raised her head and asked, I know, Naruto big brother. You won't come back with me? Naruto shook his head. No, I want to go back to the place and walk around for a bit. I haven't been back for a long time. It's good to look around. Ah, okay then. See you, big brother Naruto. Hanabi nodded, turned around, and walked towards the back with the Hyuga clansman. Naruto continued to walk forward on the path, looking around everywhere. Seeing this familiar, yet somewhat strange point, his heart was also a little moved. Before that Konoha experienced that war, many places, houses, and buildings were destroyed. Time passed a few months ago. Now all places have been renovated and completed. The style is still not much different from before. What the hell are you guys doing? Why are you doing such a thing to Naruto-sama's place? Cut! That Uzumaki Naruto is really a traitor to Konoha, and you still protect him like this. That's right, Konohamaru. You can't be that Leaf Village ninja who betrayed Uzumaki Naruto accomplice. Quickly leave. Unconsciously, Naruto Mu's consciousness arrived at the small building where he was staying. Hearing someone shouting loudly, he raised his head and looked around the second floor, and saw Konohamaru arguing with a group of people. Konohamaru spread his arms, blocking Naruto in front of the door, his face angry as he raised his head and glared at the three people. The three children facing him, who were not much older than Naruto. All wore ninja Hitai-8, forehead treasure, on their foreheads. Bastard. Big brother Naruto is not a traitor. He must have some kind of suffering. That's why he will leave Konoha. I don't allow you to destroy Big brother Naruto's home again. Konohamaru still stood in front of the door, not willing to give in at all. After Naruto saved him from Kankuro that time, he and Naruto had a few good contacts afterwards. Therefore, he knows how Naruto is as a person, not what the Konoha people say. And Naruto's headquarters was covered with paint everywhere, written with insulting and cursing words, making Konohamaru feel extremely angry. Today, Konohamaru happened to pass by here and saw these guys picking up the paint buckets again, preparing to destroy Naruto's room. Konohamaru was really angry and ran upstairs to stop them. You damn brat. Do you really want to die? Since you won't give way, then we'll just have to beat you up. That's right. Don't think that just because you're the Hokage's grandson you're all that powerful. The third lord is already dead. Inside, a little chubby guy stepped forward and pushed Konohamaru to the ground with one hand. On the other hand, two smart-haired teenagers also followed together and punched Konohamaru. Little Fatty hugged his arms, looked at Konohamaru who was holding his head and was beaten, and let out a cold laugh. Humph, this is the result of you helping that traitor Uzumaki Naruto. He is now our Konoha village's great enemy. You mixed up with this kind of person. You must be beaten until you come to your senses. Disgusting. Why do you have to hit me? Konohamaru was beaten to the point of having no strength to fight back. After talking about this for a while, his face received a few punches, and in a blink of an eye, his face was already bruised. Those bastards. Naruto felt his anger rising in his heart. He jumped up to the second floor, reached out and grabbed the ankles of the two smart teenagers and squeezed them hard. Crackle. Ah! A burst of bone-shattering sound rang out. Two smart-haired teenagers let out a scream like a butchered pig, sat down on their butts, hugged their ankles, and rolled on the ground in pain. You! Who are you? Why are you hitting us? Little Fatty just felt dizzy. Then a figure gradually appeared. The next moment his two teammates had their ankles broken. He had never seen such a speed before. Seeing this villager step by step approaching him, the little Fatty felt like he was being watched by a fierce tiger. His back couldn't help but turn cold, and cold sweat broke out all over his body. Why do you have to hit Konohamaru? Why do I have to hit you? Naruto's face didn't have much expression, just coldly staring at that little Fatty. Uncle! Who are you? Konohamaru got up from the ground, rubbed his bruised face, raised his head to look at Naruto, and immediately became a bit confused. He didn't recognize this uncle at all, and this uncle looked very formidable, so why did he have to help him? Konohamaru, now is not the time for you to ask this question. Someone else beat you up so badly. What are you going to do? Naruto did not answer Konohamaru's question directly, but instead asked him in return. Konohamaru just recovered his senses, turned his head to look at that little Fatty, and the two smart pig-like howls lying on the ground, his small face covered with anger. I must fight back. I want to let them know. Konohamaru, I'm not someone to be bullied. Saying that, Konohamaru waved his small fist and flew straight towards that Fatty. Fatty instinctively wanted to resist, but his eyes never dared to leave Naruto. He had just raised his fist, preparing to counterattack Konohamaru, when he discovered Naruto staring at him with the same death-like gaze, and immediately wilted down, standing there, letting Konohamaru's small fist swing and pound on him. Break, break, break. Let you fat bastard hit me. Break, break, break. Let you fat bastard bully me. Scold me. Konohamaru shouted while swinging his small fists and pounding on the little Fatty's stomach. But Konohamaru was too young and had no strength at all. For the fat little guy with thick skin and flesh, this kind of punch was basically painless and not itchy. Although the little Fatty didn't dare to make any movements because of Naruto's threatening gaze, he was secretly glad that the villager didn't personally attack him. Even with Konohamaru's small amount of strength, it wouldn't be a problem for him to hit him for 2 hours. But the next moment, Naruto opened his mouth to speak, making the little fatty extremely depressed, wanting to commit suicide. Konohamaru, your strength is too small. Hitting someone like that won't hurt. Konohamaru panted and waved his fists like that for a while. He was a bit tired, turned his head and asked doubtfully, Uncle, then what should I do? I also feel like this kind of anger is not over yet. Teach me a lesson. Naruto's mouth revealed an evil smile, his eyes cast towards the little fatty's lower body. Very simple. Since your strength is small, then attack his weakest place. Weak place. Konohamaru was a little surprised, but he noticed Naruto's eyes staring straight at the little fatty's lower body, and immediately understood. Ah, I know, Uncle. As soon as he finished speaking, Konohamaru raised his foot and kicked the little fatty's groin hard. Ah! An extremely miserable cry shot straight up to the sky, causing the passers-by on the street next door to shiver, not understanding who this person was, how much suffering they had to endure to be able to make such a cry. Little Chubby's eyes suddenly turned white. He covered his crotch with both hands and fell down. Konohamaru let out a strange laugh, finally feeling a little relieved. He retreated back to the two smart ones beside him, lifted his leg to let the two of them come over a bit. Ah! The miserable cry rang out again, making the person unable to bear it feel numb for a moment. Although Naruto has not personally experienced this kind of pain, but as a man he can still feel a little bit this kind of pain. I'm afraid they will never forget it for the rest of their lives. Konohamaru clapped his hands, raised his head, and hummed softly. Repent. This is the result of you bullying me, Konohamaru. Naruto saw that the situation had already become quite chaotic, and only then did he pull Konohamaru behind him and said in a low voice, You three, aren't you dead yet? If you're not dead, then quickly leave. If you dare to come here and do these useless things again in the future, as long as I see it, it won't be so easy like today. Oh, thank you for sparing my life. Let's go. The three of them covered their crotches and limped downstairs, not daring to make any stops. In less than a moment, they disappeared around the corner of the street. Uncle, who are you? Why are you helping me? Konohamaru raised his head, looking at Naruto curiously. I was just passing by and found it unpleasant to see you being bullied. Naruto stroked Konohamaru's head and said with a faint smile. In broad daylight, with many people around, perhaps that place was hiding Umbu ninja lurking. Naruto also did not want to casually reveal his identity. Just passing by? I still have to thank you for helping me. Konohamaru revealed a smiling face that was missing a front tooth. Naruto shook his head. No need to thank me. Helping you is natural, that's right. If those people dare to cause you trouble again in the future, you can go to the Hokage building's office and complain to the 5th Hokage. Yes, I know. Konohamaru nodded vigorously. The two chatted for a while. Then Naruto found an excuse to leave, went to Ichiraku Ramen alone to eat a bowl of ramen, then returned to the Hyuga clan. Yukimura's surgery went very smoothly, and he was out of danger that same morning. After hearing this news, Girin felt unusually excited and thanked Tsunade over and over again. However, just as Tsunade said before, Yukimura was deeply poisoned after all. To fully recover, he still needed to continue recuperating at the Konoha hospital for several months. Naruto and Hinata waited for 3 days in the Hyuga clan's land. 3 days later, Naruto brought Hinata and Girin and returned directly to the Land of Waves. Although Girin was very much willing to stay in Konoha, he continued to watch over Yukimura. The main gate of the Wave Country was just starting to build the ninja village. There were many big and small matters that needed to be handled. Girin considered that the Wave Country needed help, so he followed Naruto back. On the contrary, Naruto has Hiraishin that can travel. If he wants to return to Konoha to visit Yukimura, he only needs to activate his mind in the middle, and he can bring Girin back. Ding! Congratulations, host. The ninja camp-based selection mission has been completed in the Wave Country. Now you are given the following rewards. Reward 1. Mangekyo Sharingan Dojutsu Kodo Amatsukami. Use age limit reduced by 5 years. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, 2 months have passed. Just as Tazana had mentioned before. After 2 months of emergency construction, the ninja village camp at the foot of the mountain had been completed. And at this past 2 months later, a new year has come. Naruto, Hinata, Sasuke, 3 people. All have entered 13 years old. In the world of Naruto, there is no end to this year's talk, so these 2 months pass by like water flowing quickly, without any feeling at all. Every day, The master would practice for a period of time in the morning, and then during the day he would start helping Haku sort out the necessary textbooks, arrange the various curriculums of the ninja school, and arrange the training grounds. Although Naruto had always left these matters to Haku to handle, he was so busy that his head was dizzy. Leaving early and returning late every day, it was really inconvenient for everyone to just focus on cultivating themselves. One day, Naruto stood at the foot of the mountain, looking at the brand new building 100 meters ahead, feeling extremely satisfied. A large office building, located at the foot of the mountain in the middle, the architectural style, is the Hokage base's office building, looks relatively majestic. And the office building on the left and right sides also has a 3 or 4-story tall building. On the left is a building, mainly for Zabuza and Guren's group to stay. The one on the right is considered the future ninja dormitory used by the Wave Nation, and is currently vacant. As for the other medical storage buildings, teaching materials and ninja equipment storage warehouses, ninja training grounds, etc., they have all been completed one by one. The scale of the ninja school is also similar to the design of the other side of Konoha, and is even larger than the ninja school in Konoha. Although the area of this island nation of waves is not that large, its population is not that large, and its land is still very rich. This place is temporarily just a preliminary form. When the future ninja village is all on track, it will still need to be further strengthened and built. Inside the first floor of the Government Affairs Department's office building, 2 figures suddenly came out. They were Haku and Karen, jogging towards Naruto. Naruto-kun. This is these days' financial report. Haku brought a thick stack of papers to Naruto. Ah! Naruto was stunned. He lowered his consciousness and took a look at the report. Above displayed are all kinds of data: what teaching materials purchase, ring tool purchase, medical weapon purchase, ninja hitate, forehead treasure, and ninja costume manufacturing, workers' cost price, etc. Many kinds of items are there. Naruto felt dizzy for a moment, just glanced at it briefly. Then read the last page of total debt, which was shown as 19.35 million taels of silver. Only less than 20 million too? That little. Seeing this number, Naruto's first feeling was that this money wasn't much to spend. Thinking back to the extremely large suitcase Naruto gave Tsunade earlier, inside was still filled with more than 20 million too. Currently, Song Chi-kwak has built so many houses wasting materials and labor cost plus teaching materials and other purchases, the total is still not enough. Tsunade lost several times. It seems that prodigal woman Tsunade is betting money on this road these past few decades. I'm afraid she has at least lost a few ninja villages' construction costs. 20 million too. Is it too little? Karen's face was filled with silence, the corners of her mouth twitching. She seriously suspected that Naruto was posing, but she really didn't have enough evidence. Remember that day when she was in charge of that small island stronghold? It was also because she didn't give up. Money came, so he was hungry. Let the Tenten people eat bean sprouts. But now Naruto actually said 20 million too is very little. Thanks, a normal ninja doing dangerous missions all his life. Also almost cannot compete for 20 million too topics. Jiraiya has been writing novels for so many years, his salary and savings are also newer. 10 million and 2. However, more than half of this is because Jiraiya likes to play with girls and spends a lot of money. Reason. Haku's face also darkened, but she had a certain understanding of Naruto, knowing that this guy used money to spend lavishly and did not consider money a big deal at all. Anyway, the last time Naruto held a sack of money, he gave it to Rai for free. The surprise. What? Where did I say something wrong? What are you two doing with that expression? Naruto said slightly, looked at the two people doubtfully. Karen's face stiffened, and she awkwardly laughed twice, saying, Nothing, it's just, I feel like your money looks a bit special. Haku followed Naruto in hand to bring back the documents, calmly said, Actually it should be. The more flowers, the more silver, but those workers, the uncles, refuse to collect. We pay for labor, and the materials used to build the house are wood. These materials are also, the villagers nearby spontaneously brought it, so this time we used relatively little money. Little. Naruto was stunned. He really wasn't clear about these things. So, before that roofing, for a long time, Naruto was outside running around everywhere. Running around, rarely paying attention to these trivial matters. Why don't they take the money? The villagers are all very poor, and times are tough. Bear it, they don't need you, so try to stuff it for them. Naruto said doubtfully. A trace of helplessness appeared on the white face. You think I don't want to butt? It's not that they don't need it, I also have no way, trying to stuff it into them is also useless. All were turned back. However, they all have good intentions. Knowing that Lord Uzumaki Naruto wants to establish a ninja village in the land of waves, and also invest in providing a school for their children to study in the shinobi world. They said that no matter what, they will not accept this money. Is that so? These villagers are really cute enough. Naruto scratched his head and chuckled, not knowing what to say. From the beginning, Naruto really didn't want to build any ninja village here. It was entirely because he wanted to complete the system mission and obtain Kodo Amatsukumi's age limit reduction. As the days passed, Naruto and his group of ninjas slowly made their way towards waves. The more these Chi-Quack villagers interacted with each other, the more they felt they were loved by the villagers were kind and gradually came to like this place. Karen lifted her glasses and said with a smile, I really didn't expect it, Naruto. You haven't even become the village chief of the wave country yet. But you've already been deeply loved by the villagers here, ha. When Karen was in charge of the base before, she used violence to get things done. Anyone who didn't want to listen would be beaten. These days, Karen has been helping to handle a lot of things in the ninja village, and naturally has also been in contact with many people. She gradually discovered that this way of getting along harmoniously is much better than Professor Orochimaru's previous management method. It makes people feel more comfortable. No, I don't have any wish to be the village chief. Naruto, but without this aspect of enlightenment, the village chief would be very tired. This kind of thing, this is still for Tazana, that old leader type guy who is used to doing it. As for Naruto, just pull this ninja village member up and do something behind the scenes. Boss, just be a manager. I really wish Naruto was like Tsunade, sitting in front of the desk every day, handling all kinds of headache-inducing documents. Then Naruto would really want to commit suicide. Haku suddenly took out another receipt and brought it in front of Naruto, looking serious. Speak. That's right, Naruto. You always give me and Mr. Zabuza that money. I have roughly counted the number. It should be around 50 million in two. This time, the ninja village was established, and the total loss of assets was nearly 20 million too. The remaining 30 million too, I want to keep in the underground treasury first, to use as reserve funds to recruit ninjas at that time. Naruto waved his sleeves indifferently. You can use the money however you want. If it's not enough, come find me again. Hold on, this kind of trivial matter also does not need to greet me. Karen and Haku's foreheads had a large drop of sweat left. This guy's nouveau riche tone really made people want to beat him up. Seeing the two people's gazes were a bit off, Naruto suddenly felt doubtful. What's wrong? Is there a problem? Karen's mouth twitched and she asked, Naruto, how much money do you have on hand? Naruto raised his chin and thought carefully. Roughly, there are still a few billion taels. How about it? Several billion taels? Karen and Haku's jaws almost fell to the ground. The sea breeze swept at will, carrying the sea tides that continuously hit the shore. Suddenly, a mechanical engine's knock-knock sound rang out from afar. A small boat carrying people quickly approached, shooting past the waves like an arrow. There were 3 people on the boat in total, apart from the boatman who was controlling the direction. The other 2 were wearing black robes embroidered with red clouds. One of them had black hair, a pair of bright red eyes, and 3 pearls in his pupils. Another person had a large head and a shark-like appearance. On his shoulder, he carried a large knife wrapped in white cloth. Mr. Itachi, come to your destination immediately. Kisame Hashigaki looked at the large bridge in front of him that was covered in light fog and said, I know. Itachi Uchiha softly agreed, his eyes extremely profound, just quietly staring forward, not knowing what he was thinking. 2 ninja lords, you were right to choose my ship to travel by water. Although the Great Bridge of the Wave Country has been completed, but coming from the Fire Country, there is still a bit of a long way to go. Taking a boat can reduce 2/3 of the time. The boatman rowed the boat without saying a word all the way until he reached an area he was familiar with and finally found a suitable place to dock. Ah, that is, why are there suddenly so many big boats? While speaking, the boatman suddenly became a little surprised, looking at the 3 large boats docked at the shore ahead, and said, How is it, little brother? Is there a problem? Kisame Hashigaki asked, confused. Kisame Hashigaki and Itachi Uchiha teamed up together. Normally, this kind of work with outsiders was usually done by Kisame Hashigaki. After all, Itachi had a relatively quiet personality and didn't like to talk much. The boatman shook his head and continued to steer the small boat towards the shore. Nothing. Nothing. It's just that this harbor has always been empty of boats. And suddenly there are so many big boats docked, so I was a bit surprised. It could be a small merchant ship from the wave country. That is, I'm afraid it's not a merchant ship. After the small boat came to a stop near the shore, the smile on Kisame Hashigaki's face immediately froze, because he found a sign on the flagpole of that ship. That was a special design of the water country's Mist Ninja warship, similar to the Mist Village's Hittite forehead treasure. How is it? Kisame. Itachi Uchiha also discovered that Kisame Hashigaki's emotions were a bit off, looking towards him and asking. Kisame Hashigaki took out some money and gave it to the boatman. The two of them stepped onto the shore and spoke in a low voice. Those ships are the ships of the Kirigakure. Mr. Itachi, what exactly is going on? Could it be that the people of the water country also found out that the nine-tailed Jinchuriki was hidden in this country, so they sent someone to capture it first? Ah! Itachi Uchiha's eyes showed a trace of surprise. After a moment, he shook his head, denying Kisame Hashigaki's explanation. No, the probability of this is not high. As far as I know, this kind of country basically has no diplomacy. There is no way that the news of the nine-tailed Jinchuriki could have spread to the water country so quickly. Moreover, the water country has never valued tailed beasts and should have no interest in the nine-tails Jinchuriki. Kisame Hashigaki nodded thoughtfully. That's not wrong. But why did the Water Country Ninja Association come here? What exactly is going on? Let's go to the island and see for ourselves. As he spoke, Itachi Uchiha jumped a few times, entered the dense forest, stepped on tree trunks, and ran like crazy. Is that so? It is also to my liking. Kisame Hashigaki revealed that shark-like Kiba's smile, quickly following Itachi's footsteps. In a certain place in the middle of a dense forest in the country of waves, a large group of ninjas were continuously jumping and leaping, speeding forward. Leading the way was a person wearing a kimono with a black eye patch over his right eye. It was the water country Hokage Mizukage Meiterumi, left and right AO. More than a month ago, the Hidden Mist Village's Umbu personnel were investigating the whereabouts of the traitorous ninja Zabuza. Through a series of inquiries, they finally found the Land of Waves, and discovered that Zabuza and Suigetsu, the two traitors, were both on this island nation. Originally, disguised as an ordinary villager of the Hidden Mist Village, Umbu's staff wanted to go up and capture Zabuza and Suigetsu. But in the team, a guy with a ninja sense discovered that the ninjas besides Zabuza, although their ages didn't look old, each of them were powerful experts, without absolute strength to grasp the premise. The Hidden Mist Village's Umbu staff had no choice but to give up their actions and first return to the village to report to the Mizukage. After receiving the authority from Hokage Mizukage Meiterumi, he specially sent his right-hand man Ao to lead the team, leading the Hidden Mist Village's 3 ninja platoons. A total of 362 elite Mist Village ninja to the Land of Waves to chase Zabuza and Suigetsu. It's not that Zabuza and Suigetsu are that important, but the great sword in Zabuza's hand that cuts off heads for the Village of the Mist has an absolutely attractive power. The 7 swordsmen of the Mist all originated from Kirigakure, experiencing the 4th Mizukage's violent rule, and the 7 of them mostly left the village with their ninja ways. Now that Zabuza's whereabouts are known, other than chasing Zabuza back to the village and bringing his head back to the village with a large sword, these ninjas' important missions this time are also important. Captain, let's continue moving forward about 3 kilometers, and we'll be able to reach the village where Zabuza is stationed. A man wearing a dark ninja mask sped up his steps and jumped to the pond next to him, reporting that he was preparing to take stock of the situation. I understand, everyone. Please tidy up the place for 10 minutes first, tidy up your ninja tools, and prepare for battle. Ao nodded slightly, raising his hand to signal the crowd to stop. Yes, Captain Tan. The Umbu ninja group shouted in agreement, jumping down from the big tree, leaning against the big tree to rest and replenish their stamina, while checking their ninja equipment. These days, sitting on boats and traveling at sea, the 3 companies of the Mist Village were already busy, completing all their combat preparations. But Ao can become the left and right-hand Mizukage, and also be a strategist of the Mist Village, and that careful working personality is inseparable. The Umbu had previously reported their preparations. Zabuza had about 6 or 7 teammates who were all ninja, but each one of them was very strong. But this time, 3 ninja squads came out. Each one of them were elites trained by the Mist Village. Even though the enemy and our ninja numbers were far apart, and his side held an absolute advantage, AO still did not show the slightest bit of complacency, trying to achieve everything possible in the most perfect plan. All members set out, according to my previous battle plan, take the great sword and behead them with the sole purpose of capturing them, and conveniently chase Zabuza and Sujetsu back to Kirigakure. Very quickly, 10 minutes of time had passed. AO stood up and said, then his eyes immediately looked forward and slightly stopped. His right eye was covered by a black eye. Many blue veins burst out. His white eye state was opened. Yes, Captain. The ninja group stood up together, and after a sound of agreement, they quickly followed AO's footsteps and rushed forward. Tizana House on the other side at the foot of the mountain, the sound of firecrackers exploding continuously rang out. Most of the nearby villagers brought their children and ran over to celebrate with Naruto. In the office downstairs of the large building, there were now 4 tables set up. Each table had more than 10 villagers sitting. On the tables were arranged all kinds of food. Because there was a barrier between the buildings, Naruto did not know about the banquet hall of this large building at first. When Naruto was dragged downstairs by Haku and Karen, he only felt confused and couldn't quite understand the situation before his eyes. What are you guys doing? Setting up a celebration party? Naruto asked Karen beside him. But at this moment, all the villagers stood up, their faces filled with innocent smiles as they looked at Naruto and started clapping their hands. Lord Naruto, you've finally arrived. Lord Naruto, you being able to build a ninja village in our poor country is truly a great benefactor of our Wave Nation. Today's banquet must be a great success. That's right. Our Wave country can welcome a ninja like Lord Naruto. It's truly our good fortune. Lord Naruto, my son Xiaoba, is exactly 6 years old this year. He joined ninja school and went to school without any problems. Naruto was led straight forward. Looking at the smiling faces passing by, he could only awkwardly smile and nod in response. This kind of feeling of being stared at by everyone and becoming the focus of attention really made Naruto very uncomfortable. I just want to get the system reward. It's not as great as you say. After a long while, finally, with Karen and Haku dragging them through the crowd, they arrived at a 4-sided table at the very back. Tizana's family, along with Hinata, Sasuke, Gurin, Zabuza, Suigetsu, and the others were all sitting at a table over there. Suigetsu smiled lightly and waved his hand, greeting Naruto. Naruto, today is truly a rare occasion, to be able to participate in such a special banquet. Fortunately, there is you, the village chief of the Wave Country. Naruto was followed to sit down on the chair, his face full of frustration. Who told you that you want me to be the village chief of Wave Country? I have no interest in this kind of thing. The village chief, of course, still wants old man Tizana to take charge. I'm not that material. Zabuza's always well-spoken face was now filled with laughter. Naruto, it doesn't matter if you don't want to do village chief or whatever, but you should still take over the management of the village, right? After all, the establishment of this ninja village was all done by you. Naruto chuckled, and then laughed again, threw the spearhead to Haku, and said, of course there's no problem with management, but I've already said to Brother Bai that he'll handle some routine matters if there's any important issue. You can come find me. Haku looked confused. What's wrong? Naruto nodded. Of course, last time at school's staff room, I specially came to look for you. Don't you remember? Naruto had mentioned this matter to Haku once before, but at that time, Haku was so busy that his mind was dizzy. He was constantly dealing with various problems, and didn't pay much attention to what Naruto said. He just casually replied. Now that he had experienced Naruto's reminder, Haku was able to roughly recall it. No, Naruto-kun. You really intend to throw all this mess to me and be carefree by yourself? How could you bear it? Haku's face was filled with tears. After spending the past few days dealing with the ninja village, he was busy doing the most things. Didn't think that Naruto really planned to hand over everything to him in the future, letting him be the one in charge. Talented people always have a lot of work to do. Don't worry, I will think of a way to send you more manpower when the time comes. Naruto smiled shamelessly. Everyone at the table was a bit reluctant, knowing that Naruto just wanted to be the boss. Send more manpower? There are only 7 of them in this ninja place. How much manpower is there? They just want everyone to work together to deal with the trouble in this village. Seeing that the atmosphere had suddenly become a bit stifling, Naruto hurriedly explained, Hey. What kind of expression are you all having? Actually, I have some good plans. I don't really want to blame everything on you guys. Saying that, Naruto immediately began to consider his own options. After these days, Naruto carefully considered the future, and finally decided that he still had to follow the foreign move to recruit ninja to return. Otherwise, this ninja kingdom of waves would have no way to rebuild. The biggest problem right now is that there are too few ninjas. Although Naruto found these guys, each one was an elite. But a little trivial matter, can't let all 6 of them do it. For example, guarding, patrolling, investigating positions, teaching, these kinds of trivial matters, if really wanted, let Naruto and the 7 ninjas do it. I'm afraid that if they don't tire the 7 people to death, they will completely become a machine operator. Every day they're busy doing these village chores, and have no time to cultivate at all. That's right, without the 7 of them, Sasuke is completely alone. During these months, Sasuke was the only one who rarely came to help the newly built ninja village. In his heart, he always remembered the hatred of Uchiha, wished to be Uchiha's revenge. Every day except eating and sleeping, he was diligently cultivating. This is also Naruto's special approval. He doesn't need to participate in village affairs here. The topic returned to the village where chores were done. Naruto and his group had no way to complete those things. So now there are only 2 measures that can solve the immediate emergency. The first one is Naruto shamelessly going to find Tsunade, asking Tsunade to lend him to his own village to help complete various daily tasks. If Naruto really opens his mouth, Tsunade has a very high chance of agreeing. But this is not the best solution, not to mention Naruto and most of the Leaf Village ninja are not the same. Furthermore, the Leaf Village ninjas are all brainwashed by the will of fire. Even if they were willing to follow Tsunade's orders and help Naruto complete these tasks, I'm afraid they wouldn't do it willingly. The next measure was to immediately announce to the major ninja villages that the Wave Country Ninja Village was established. At the same time, the Wave Country Ninja Village announced that it was hiring a huge amount of money to recruit ninjas, and that it must quickly post a list of ninjas in all the towns and cities. As long as the full price is paid, those unorganized wandering ninjas will naturally rush here for the huge reward to participate in the Wave Nation Ninja Village camp interview. At that time, it was possible to the village would pull in a group of bottom-level ninjas to do those trivial patrol and guard tasks. As for the great nations in the middle, can they send out ninja spies with their own intentions to enter the ninja village in the Wave Country? Please rest assured on this point. Under Naruto's Mangekyo Sharingan illusion technique, no ninja can sneak in without revealing himself. Of course, when facing the ninja test, there was no need for Naruto to have each ninja perform an illusion technique. At that time, we only need to thoroughly examine the information from those interviewed people and find out the suspicions, and then we can roughly judge and eliminate some of the ninjas that are not problematic. Any suspicious ninja, if not, would like to taste the Mangekyo Sharingan illusionary technique's baptism. Hearing Naruto's detailed description, the large table of people all nodded in satisfaction. Karen and Suigetsu both revealed surprised looks, looking at Naruto with some disbelief. Karen, Naruto, I didn't think you were so stupid. Suigetsu, although this Naruto guy normally seems a bit unreliable, but in front of this kind of great event, he is still very courageous. Naruto couldn't help but open his Byakugan. What is this called not thinking that his mind is so bright? What is this called normal looks not very reliable? I, Naruto-sama, have always been a trustworthy and good person. Otherwise, I would have brought you all to this place. You guys kill people like demons, and all you want to subdue? Speaking of which, Zabuza, Guren, Suigetsu, these 3 people, were truly not people who cared about human life before. Considered a significant matter. But in the past few months in the Wave Country, the 3 of them have all undergone a transformation, gradually integrating into the life of this big family, which is actually not bad. Everyone, it's rare to see everyone so happy gathered together today. Let me say a few words. Everyone, please be quiet. Tizana brought a bowl of wine to the table, stood up, and waved his hand towards the villagers below, signaling them to be quiet first. The party in the middle of everyone stopped the noise, sending the light shooting out to Tizana on. Close. Cough, cough. Remember 1-0? At last year before, we all Wave Country people were still meeting Gadu. Tizana coughed lightly twice, then slowly said, I believe everyone. Crushing and exploitation. But ever since Naruto and the others came that time, they gave us complete control. completely solve Gata's problem. Let us successfully build the Great Bridge of Wave Country. Success cleared the way. Now Naruto brought ninja to station here at our place, established ninja village here at our place. This also means that in the future our Wave Country will also have its own ninja, no longer need to be easily bullied by others. I feel like we all should stand up, respect Naruto, respect him, and respect our comrades. Team a cup of wine, the tycoon said, right or not Al. Tizana said these words were profound. These stories of long ago, the news spread throughout the village. Almost everyone knew, but Tizana said so again. The scene of those villagers was not revealed. Impatient, contrast also all a bunch of hot eyes full of hatred. Glasses looking over Naruto. This is enough to see that Naruto's position in these people's hearts is truly great. Full weight. Although unlike Pain and Conan who ruled Amigakure like that, they were recognized by the villagers. Destined to be a mysterious angel. As long as the angel descends, good fortune will come. Presently. But Naruto in the hearts of these villagers of the Land of Waves really wanted to continue. Near deification. Make your body full of excellent light. Even if you fart, in the eyes of others it is still fragrant. Even if you go around with diarrhea naked, others will still think your actions are. You are very thoughtful. Maybe because his family in the land sow seeds next year, and do more. Fertilizer only. Come. Let's all toast to Lord Naruto. Sir Naruto, you must drink this cup of wine. Otherwise it will be useless. Respect me. There were quite a few daring villagers who rushed forward, wanting to invite Naruto to drink. You drink well. Drink a little more. Naruto awkwardly smiled back, but inside he was extremely upset. I'm only 13 years old, not even old enough to drink alcohol yet. You guys aren't forcing me. Just as Naruto was wondering whether to refuse, Karen on the table suddenly changed her expression, as if she felt. Sensed something unusual locally. She closed her eyes, opened her divine eye to sense the surroundings. When she opened her eyes again, her face was already covered with solemnity. Naruto, big brother, today's banquet is probably not going to be successful. Someone quietly broke in. Encroaching. Right here coming towards us, Karen said in a low voice. What? Naruto hurriedly pushed aside the two villagers who were pestering him to drink and stood up. The person who got up looked towards Karen and asked, what exactly happened? How many people came? People? Karen frowned and thought for a moment, then said, there are a lot of people, about a few hundred people. The cicada is currently hiding outside the small mountainside headquarters. Moreover in this team, the final Fong, followed by two very strong ninja, one of whom was on Liang's body. Chakra is extremely huge. It can indeed be compared to you. Hinata. Naruto looked towards Hinata, just shouted once. Hinata immediately understood and nodded, opened Byakuya to observe the surroundings. Without waiting for a definite answer, Naruto hurriedly told the crowd again. Tizana. Old man, Haku, you two immediately evacuate the villagers here and bring them here. Behind the safety building teach the school district over there. Zabuza, Sujitsu, Sasuke, Karen, Hinata, immediately come with me to the other side of the small mountain. I want to see who dares to come to my territory to cause trouble. I understand. The crowd nodded in agreement and immediately began to busy themselves with their own matters. Tizana and Haku are both smart people and did not shout loudly, causing trouble outside. That enemy attention, they greeted each other softly, leading the villagers one by one to fall down and the next to advance. Ran towards the other side of the teaching area. But because the other side of the teaching area was at the foot of the mountain, it was different from the tall buildings sandwiched in between, considered the safest place. If it really causes too much impact on the big guys, it will not affect the safety of these villagers. Naruto brought his team of people, quickly heading towards the mountainside. The other side is looking into the past. At this time, Hinata, through Byakugan's clairvoyance, had already roughly grasped the surrounding situation. All for clear view. Naruto-kun. That? The number of enemies is quite a lot, but what Karen just said, following the enemy army's rear two people, there was a person who looked like Nainasuke. A bit similar. Moreover, he has the same Sharingan as Nainasuke. Sharingan. Naruto was stunned, hearing that he could roughly guess the other party's identity. In this current ninja world, there is probably no one else besides Itachi Uchiha who can possess a pair of Sharingan like Sasuke and grow up to look like Sasuke. Uchiha, Itachi, Sasuke, is smarter than others. After hearing Hinata's description, he naturally guessed the other person's identity, like Naruto. His voice contained anger. He let out a low roar, ignoring the squad's maintenance of formation. And like crazy, he rushed towards the other side of the mountain. Sasuke, wait a minute. Naruto was about to raise his hand to stop him, but he didn't expect that the ninjas searching the small hillside above had already discovered the movement here. Large arrays of kunai and shuriken, like raindrops, flew towards Naruto and his group. Only Sasuke, who was leading the charge, dodged the kunai and shuriken attacks, and took a detour along the long road, heading towards the small mountainside behind. Sasuke's goal is very simple. He wants to kill Itachi Uchiha with his own hands. Be careful, big guy, Naruto loudly shouted to remind his teammates. At the same time, he also took out the kunai on his body and waved it, knocking down the shuriken one by one. Gurin and Zabuza and the others are all battlefield professionals, basically. Also, no need for any reminder. Before the danger arrived, they had already formed a defensive formation, with Gurin and Zabuza blocking the front, and Karen, who had weak combat abilities, protecting her in the center. Hinata and Suigetsu each fought individually, dodging kunai attacks while also thinking of ways to slowly move towards the small mountainside above. All members follow me and move out at the same time. Chase down the traitorous mist ninja Zabuza with Hozuki Suigetsu. Finally, the kunai rain stopped, and the one who had been hiding in the small hillside forest in the middle of the pond suddenly jumped out. He waved his hand and shouted loudly, immediately leading the way towards the mountainside and flying straight down. Come, first target is Zabuza. The 300 mist ninjas followed closely behind and killed, transforming into each other. After image straight towards Naruto and a group of people approaching. So it's the dark mist village pursuers. I really didn't expect them to. Can still find this place too. Suigetsu revealed his mouth full of fangs and smiled, seemingly not afraid of the battle before him. Instead, his eyes carried excitement. Karen frowned, couldn't help but point at Suigetsu's nose and shouted, Suigetsu, it's really you, this guy, who brought disaster upon yourself. Suigetsu let go of his hand without a care. Burn hard, Karen, we are now really both from the land of waves ninja, you don't need to say that. Hinata turned her head to look at Naruto and asked, Naruto, what should we do? Sasuke is rushing over alone. He probably won't be able to handle it. Naruto frowned at this urgent moment. He couldn't hesitate too much. Although Naruto knew Itachi would not really kill Sasuke. But Itachi wanted Sasuke to hate him more, so Sasuke's strength would quickly increase. Like breaking an arm or leg, that Itachi guy can totally do it. Hinata, you and the others stay here and deal with those ninja from the Mist Village. I'll go to Sasuke's side first and quickly deal with him before coming to your aid. Suigetsu cut in. Naruto, you can rest assured and help Nainasuke well. We will take care of everything here. No need for help. We these people are completely enough. Alright, I'll leave it to you. Remember to protect Karen well. Naruto patted Suigetsu's shoulder. Without saying anything more, he directly headed towards Sasuke's side. Early on, Naruto gave each team member a specially made Hiraishin kunai so that they could carefully store it, so that if Naruto had something to do, he could quickly find them. But today Sasuke also did not know what was going on. Hiraishin's specially made kunai was not brought with him. On the body, this time Naruto could only use 2 legs to walk towards Sasuke's side. That passed. Itachi, Uchiha, today I will definitely kill you. On the other side, going around the mountainside behind Sasuke, he found Itachi and Kisame's hiding place. Or rather, these 2 people themselves are completely white in the Mist Village's ninja group. Follow behind, basically nothing to worry about. Sasuke, upon hearing that Itachi might be coming, had completely lost his mind, his heart completely filled with anger, which was why he recklessly charged over. Now that Sasuke really saw Itachi, his entire body was trembling. Images flashed in his mind. All of them were of his clansmen dying tragically on the spot that day. Mr. Itachi, that little devil looks very similar to you. And also the same. You have such a Sharingan. Isn't it your brother? Kisame Hashigaki grinned, feeling a little surprised at Sasuke's arrival. Surprised? That guy is just trash that I pitted and let him survive. He has no value to be killed by me. Itachi calmly looked at Sasuke, indifferently responding to Kisame's words. Bastard. Godi. Sasuke finally couldn't control himself and bowed down. The two people on the other side rushed towards Itachi Uchiha. Running at the same time, Sasuke's right hand slightly raised. A layer of electricity rose from his palm, circling. Around the hand, four jump up. As Sasuke waved his hand, the electric current turned into a sharp long sword. Straight to Itachi Uchiha, heart stabbed. This is Sasuke, two's many months of hard work and cultivation results. Except for lightning release Kirin. The same 360-degree protection Chidori flow does not have complete mastery. Outside, Chidori Spear, Chidori Senbon, and other series of ninjutsu. Sasuke has practiced them all. Complete. Lightning release chakra form changes. Almost like Sasuke is about to play it to the limit. In the original work, at Orochimaru's base, Sasuke spent nearly 3 years. Just completed these practices. But now it only took 2 months, mostly because Naruto already had an understanding of these lightning release transformations. Sasuke only needs to complete the lightning release nature transformation practice, and those lightning release abilities can be mastered very quickly. Puffy. The 1,000-year-old spear has straight, sharp thorns, but it still cannot cause injury. Itachi Uchiha's sewing machine, he just leaned to one side. Chidori spear slash. The sharp tip immediately pierced the big tree inside. Seeing Itachi Uchiha so disdainful, Suke couldn't help but reveal the corner of his mouth. A cold smile? He turned the Chidori spear in his hand, sharp lightning blade. The knife immediately cut down the big tree, and immediately swung towards Itachi and Kisame's bodies. Slash! Itachi and Kisame jumped up and once again dodged the Chidori spear strike. Lightning release ninja? Mr. Itachi, your little brother can actually cultivate lightning release to this extent. Kisame Hashigaki stood on the branch of the big tree, still maintaining a relaxed expression as he said. Compared to a few years ago, he has made some progress but is still too weak. Itachi's 2 feet continuously stepped on the big tree, then suddenly jumped. Leaped, flying straight towards Sasuke. Collected equals dash equals. Itachi, who was in the air, continuously swung several shuriken towards Suke. Sasuke was not at all weak, similarly taking out several shuriken from his body and clamping them in the gap between them. Knocking down the shuriken, Itachi launched one by one. Fire release great fireball finger technique. Shuriken swung out the movement just completed. Sasuke, immediately both hands quickly formed seals, already completed. Form a fire release ninjutsu seal. Standing in front of him with one palm, his jaw slightly raised, a thread of fire sprayed out from the side of his mouth, rapidly condensing into a huge fireball, flying straight towards Itachi in the air. Itachi quickly turned around in the air. His feet landed firmly on the ground. His hands quickly formed several hand seals like lightning. The seal was completed. Itachi chose the same action as Sasuke. From the side of his mouth spat out a thread of fire. After turning into a fireball, he shot towards the opposite fireball ship. Boom boom. 2 giant fireballs in the air collided, sending out large waves of fire that spread in all directions. As the two people's chakra continuously increased, the fireball's firepower also became more intense, continuously swooping down towards the opponent. 2 seconds later, the flames that Sasuke spewed out increased by a level, suppressing Itachi's flames. The large fireball flew straight along Itachi's body, burning Itachi's body to a charred black. His injuries looked extremely serious. Your strength has retreated. It seems you are not as powerful as you say. Sasuke's mouth corners revealed a cold smile. This was the first time he felt the pleasure of getting revenge. But very quickly, the corner of his mouth smiled stiffly, his eyes filled with disbelief. Because of the fireball that burned Itachi Uchiha until his whole body was black, with a bang, a white mist exploded and disappeared without a trace. It was just a shadow clone. What are you talking about? Itachi Uchiha's icy voice rang out from behind Sasuke. Sasuke's eyes were filled with fear. He quickly grabbed the hilt of the Kusanagi, sword hanging at his waist, pulled it out, and wanted to slash behind him. But Kusanagi had just come out of his sheath halfway, when Sasuke glanced over and saw Itachi Uchiha, kicking him hard in the back. Sasuke spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, screamed miserably, and flew straight forward. The body heavily hit a big tree, only then did it stop with difficulty. Disgusting. That guy was actually able to form a shadow clone hand seal in the moment he just released the fireball? How is this possible? When exactly was it? At this moment, Itachi once again pressed forward and charged straight toward Sasuke. Sasuke was shocked by Itachi's strength, but did not show any fear. Or rather, in a situation where hatred and anger completely occupied his heart, Sasuke basically didn't know what to fear. He only wanted revenge with all his heart. Even if he died at the hands of the other party, he still wouldn't regret it. Because living every day only hopes to be able to take revenge for this matter. For Sasuke, it is a very painful life. If he really does not have the ability to take revenge, then perhaps dying in the hands of the other party is also a kind of release. You bastard! Sasuke thought more and more angrily. Instantly pulled out Kusanagi. A wave of electric current rose from his palm, rapidly spreading to Kusanagi's entire sword body. At the moment Itachi was charging forward, Sasuke also swung Kusanagi towards Itachi's face. Itachi lowered his head to avoid. Like lightning, he reached out his right hand, grabbed Sasuke's neck, used all his strength to push back, causing Sasuke to receive another heavy blow. His back crashed into a large tree branch, screaming miserably. Godi! Sasuke roared, once again swinging Kusanagi to slash at Itachi, but didn't expect that the hand that just swung out was stopped by Itachi's wrist. As Itachi used all his strength to squeeze, Sasuke's wrist bone made a cracking sound. His right hand was no longer able to exert any strength. Kusanagi slipped and fell to the ground. Ah! Sasuke let out a miserable cry, but before he could even recover from the pain, Itachi had already tightly squeezed his neck, making him feel suffocated. To be so cruel to your own flesh and blood brother, Mr. Itachi. You are truly a cold-blooded man. Kisame Hashigaki grinned. Not knowing why, he always disobeyed him, but towards his teammate Itachi, he felt admiration in his heart. Itachi also did not pay attention to Kisame's words. A pair of Kurenai Sharingan eyes intently looked at Sasuke, coldly said, "You are too weak. Why are you so weak? Because your hatred is not enough. Stupid little brother, if you want to kill me, you will resent me, curse me, then you will live like an ugly dog, constantly avoiding and avoiding just to survive. Then one day when you have eyes like mine, you will come before me." As he spoke, Itachi lifted his leg and suddenly lifted his knee forcefully pressing down on Sasuke's abdomen. A stream of blood flowed from the corner of Sasuke's mouth. The pain on his face grew even more intense. He really wanted to fight back, even if it meant leaving a scar on the body of this murderer who exterminated his entire clan. He tried many times to make a move, but found that his whole body was in pain and he was powerless. And he was completely unable to control his body's actions. Collection. Suddenly, a kunai quickly shot out of the air, stabbing straight towards Itachi Uchiha's back. Itachi's eyes moved slightly, realizing the danger in an instant, and immediately grabbed Sasuke to dodge. Bang! The straight kunai was stabbed straight into the tree trunk inside. Wow! An orange figure appeared, instantly appearing beside the two people, like lightning, swinging a punch towards Itachi's face. So fast! Itachi was slightly shocked in his heart, and he felt an extremely threatening feeling from this swinging fist. He didn't dare to risk his life with the other party, so he had to give up on holding Sasuke in his hand and jumped backwards a few times. At the moment Itachi turned his head away, Naruto's fist landed on the large tree behind him. Bang! The giant tree let out a loud cracking sound. The waist-like quality of the giant tree trunk was instantly broken off, flying 3 meters away backwards. A blow forced Itachi Uchiha back. Naruto did not immediately pursue, but supported the approaching Sasuke, his face filled with concern as he asked, "Sasuke, how is it? Can you still move now?" "Man, Naruto?" Sasuke weakly half opened his eyes, his face still full of pain, obviously his broken arm and internal injuries on his body, making him currently endure great pain. But even so, Sasuke still forcefully grabbed Naruto's wrist and angrily said, "That guy, Itachi Uchiha, must let me come and kill him. Naruto, you absolutely cannot kill him, understand?" Naruto's eyes flashed with helplessness. What kind of trouble are these two brothers causing? Why do they have to do this kind of self-destruction? Now that everyone is a traitor ninja, why don't we just live together outside? At this moment, Naruto really wanted to immediately tell the truth behind Itachi's extermination of the clan. Mouth wide open, Naruto still couldn't open his mouth in the end. After all, this is the path of growth that Itachi meticulously planned for his younger brother. If he were to let Naruto destroy it so easily, would Itachi be able to turn against Naruto? Naruto patted Sasuke's shoulder and said, "Don't worry, without your consent, I won't kill him." Mr. Itachi, this is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. It seems you were looked down upon by a little brat. Kisame Hashigaki let out a strange laugh, jumped up and down a few times, standing beside Itachi. Itachi Uchiha lightly frowned and said in a low voice, "Kisame, don't be so contemptuous. Didn't you hear the exact news that Sasori gave out about the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? That guy is really proficient in 8 Gates release and Sage Technique abilities. In principle, his strength is already on par with that legendary Sannin, Jiraiya." Kisame Hashigaki nodded, but the contempt in his eyes that was looking towards Naruto did not lessen. "Is that so? I just happen to want to broaden my knowledge a bit about what kind of power the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki possesses. Could it be that with the strength of the two of us, we still can't capture him?" Naruto grabbed Sasuke's arm, helped him up from the ground, looked at the two people opposite, and said calmly, "Right. You guessed right. With just the two of you, there's no way you can take me down." Naruto here is not being arrogant. Kisame Hashigaki and Itachi Uchiha. This pair of two people is truly formidable. Kisame Hashigaki, huge amount of chakra. Proficient in performing large-range water-release ninjutsu attacks, and also has a great sword that absorbs enemy chakra energy Samahata. Itachi Uchiha's pair of Mangekyo Sharingan is also proficient in powerful illusionary techniques and powerful black flame physical attacks. But Naruto was already able to open the 7th gate of 8 Gates release, Chunin exams early on. Although it was a bit reluctant at that time, after several months of continuous training, coupled with the strengthening of Hashirama cells and his own Uzumaki clan bloodline, the 7th gate basically didn't have too many side effects. Moreover, there is also Myobokuzan, Sage Technique, and Nine-Tails Chakra ability to help. Kakebonshin no Jutsu, Sado Clone Technique. As he spoke, Naruto also formed a Shadow Clone Hand seal, allowing the 2 Shadow Clones to carry Sasuke to the side. At the same time, Naruto reached out and pulled the bandage over his right eye, revealing a 3-pointed Sharingan wrapped around it. Is this the Sharingan Sasori was talking about? But what kind of abilities it has is still a mystery. Kisame Hashigaki put down the large decapitation sword on his shoulder and looked straight in front of him, frowning as he looked at Naruto. Itachi was also a bit stunned. He was surprised that Naruto could be like Kakashi, without relying on the Uchiha clan bloodline, and could implant the Sharingan. Although Sasori previously gave all the information about the battle in that cave to the Akatsuki organization. But what kind of ability does Naruto's 3 Sharingan have? No one knows for now. And Itachi can't make a judgment based on appearances. What? You two didn't come to capture me, did you? Feudo, I'll consider myself the one who made the first move. Naruto was not prepared to talk nonsense with the other party anymore. His feet stomped on the ground and directly charged towards the 2 people in front of him. The speed is really quite fast. Kisame Hashigaki's expression changed slightly. He only saw Naruto transform into an afterimage. Then in the blink of an eye, he saw a foot kick towards his face. Kisame Hashigaki also did not have any confusion, holding the Samahata great sword in his hand, standing in front of him. Samahata's sharp spikes pierced through the outer layer of the white cloth and stabbed straight towards Naruto's foot. Naruto immediately stopped his force, squatted down, and kicked Kisame Hashigaki's lower body. Although Kisame Hashigaki's speed was not happy, his reaction ability was not bad. He predicted Naruto's attack early on, jumped back and dodged, avoiding Naruto's close attack range. If that kind of monster force attack were to hit someone, I'm afraid they would either die or instantly lose their fighting ability. I won't engage in close combat with you, this little brat. Kisame Hashigaki laughed loudly, took the Samahata great sword in his hand, and threw it at Sora with force. His 2 hands started to form seals. Naruto did not actively chase after Kisame. Nearby, there was also an Itachi Uchiha. He swung a punch straight towards Itachi's chest. Break! Itachi's reaction speed was comparable to Kisame's, wanting to be even more agile. Adding a pair of Sharingan to see clearly below, he had already sensed Naruto's attack. Let go of the person flying backwards, also not wanting to fight Naruto head-on. What? You two don't even dare to fight head-on. Naruto fought more and more vigorously, continuing to chase Itachi Uchiha, using his own monster power fist, punching out one punch after another. In just a moment, Itachi Uchiha was chased and continuously struggled to escape. And Naruto was like a tree-punching machine. Every punch that landed on a branch of a large tree instantly broke it off, causing it to fall down with a rumble. Collect, collect, collect. Itachi Uchiha took the opportunity to catch his breath, waving his hand and throwing out several shuriken. The shuriken in the air spun rapidly, emitting a loud buzzing sound as it shot straight towards Naruto. Naruto was forced to stop the pursuit. From the ninja tool in his bag, pulled out a kunai. In his hand, turned the sword flower. Immediately continuously swung, knocking down the shuriken one by one. But before Naruto could catch his breath, Itachi Uchiha in this short moment. A group of fire release ninjutsu seals had already been completed. Fire release Kaze Fairy Flower Claw Kunai. Itachi stood with one palm at his mouth. From his mouth he spat out a large patch of fiery red fireball, pointing in all directions towards Naruto. Earth Flowing Wall? Although Naruto's hand seals weren't as fast as Itachi's, the earth-flowing stone seals were completed almost instantly. As Naruto squatted down, his two palms suddenly slapped the ground, causing a loud rumble to appear. A wall about 3 meters wide broke through the ground and stood tall in front of Naruto. Boom boom tilde tilde boom boom tilde tilde tilde. Each fireball hit Kitsuchi on the wall, exploding into clusters of dazzling fireballs. In each fireball of the Phoenix Fairy, there was also hidden a spinning and dancing shuriken, stabbing straight into the earthen wall. Earth Release Ninjutsu? Coincidence? Itachi was a little surprised. He didn't think that Naruto would use such a method to break his hidden ultimate move Fire Release Ninjutsu. This Phoenix Claw technique is an upgraded version of Phoenix Fire. One must have very fast hand speed to be able to complete the hand seal in an instant and swing out a large amount of shuriken, ideally hiding them within the fireball. If it were an ordinary person dealing with this type of fireball attack, their first reaction would naturally be to use Water Release Ninjutsu to counter it. The 5 elements are mutually exclusive. Water controls fire. Just put out the fire, and you can eliminate danger. Perhaps no one could have imagined that under each fireball, there was hidden an extremely powerful shuriken. Those shuriken could instantly turn into a killing move, defeating the opponent. Collect, collect. It all happened so fast. There wasn't much time for Itachi to think it over. Naruto, hiding behind the earthen wall, probed straight towards the two of them and shot towards them. He waved his hand and threw out a specially made Hiraishin kunai, shooting towards them. But Naruto's use of Hiraishin to switch positions and engage in close combat with the opponent had long been reported to the entire Akatsuki organization by Sasori. Therefore, this point of the Itachi prank was naturally seen. Shuriken and kunai were thrown hard. Itachi had already ruined the circus act. He also threw out 2 kunai. Shooting straight towards Naruto, the 2 Hiraishin specially made kunai. Double clang. For kunai in the air and the ship, splash some sparks fell down to the ground. Mr. Itachi, I'm ready. At this moment, standing on the tree branch, Kisame Hashigaki, the water release seal, had completely condensed. Water-style violent water waves, he loudly reminded Itachi, then suddenly raised his head, condensed chakra in his throat, and sprayed a torrent of water towards the ground, instantly covering the surrounding ground. As Kisame Hashigaki's spray of water increased, the water level in the forest rose to about 4 to 5 meters high, covering a third of the giant trees. Naruto temporarily stopped charging forward to attack, stepped on the big tree, and jumped continuously, higher above the water surface, his face indifferent as he looked at the 2 people opposite. Then what? Other than the amount of old talk you spewed out, this farce doesn't have any offensive power. Humph! You 9-tailed Jinchuriki brat. Your speech is really not pleasing to others. Kisame Hashigaki snorted softly. Being looked down upon like this made him very unhappy. This water release ninjutsu's sole purpose was not to attack, but to give Kisame the advantage of the terrain. Furthermore, in the absence of Mizu, creating such a huge lake-like stream of water in the entire ninja world, only Kisame Hashigaki alone can do it. Such a powerful ninjutsu is worthless in the mouth of a little brat? Kisame Hashigaki couldn't help it. His two hands changed their seals, and a column of water appeared under his feet, sending him high into the air. At the same time, the water around him erupted, also following the upward direction, pouring out, forming a rolling tide, sweeping away the past towards Naruto's side. Boom boom tilde tilde tilde. In the forest, many of the tree roots were not strong enough, and were pulled out by the water current. Following the impact of the water bubbles, they rolled towards Naruto. This scene really does seem a bit familiar. Naruto smiled faintly, remembering the time in the original work when Guy's group of 4 fought with Kisame. Kisame also used this kind of surfing form, initiating an attack towards the enemy. It's just that the terrain is different now, with those giant trees covering the sky around him as a foothold. Kisame's water release advantage isn't so obvious. When Kisame carried Samehada's greatsword, he arrived in front of Naruto. Naruto had already stepped on the old tree trunks, standing at the top of the big tree. Water release! For dragons! Kisame Hashigaki threw Samehada's greatsword, his two hands quickly forming hand seals. In just a flash, a few drops of water rose from the water below his feet, and in the air, they rapidly condensed into 4-meter-long transparent sharks. The sharks split into a row, their tails flapping in the air, and headed straight towards the Naruto ship on top of the giant tree. Kitan, Inden fire release, flame bullet. Naruto also did not have any confusion. Even though there was an Itachi Uchiha staring at the side, he just calmly responded. Almost in an instant, the fire release ninjutsu seal formation was completed. Opened its mouth and spat out a thread of fire, condensing a fireball about 5 meters in front of it, heading towards those sharks. The water-shaped shark and the fireball ship instantly emitted a series of swoosh-swish sounds, causing a large amount of white mist to rise up around them. Although the 5 elements are in conflict, water controls fire. But the fireball was several times larger than the shark. But under the crushing situation, the Mizu shark was still burned to ashes. Humph, what a pity! As the fireball passed by the 4-headed Mizu shark's body in a flash, the corner of Kisame Hashigaki's mouth couldn't help but reveal a trace of a satisfied smile. I saw that the air that had been shattered into countless shark water droplets by the fireball suddenly condensed into countless small shark heads in the air, tearing and tearing towards Naruto. The reason why the 4-headed shark rain is called this is not because it can condense into 4 shark heads, but like Itachi's Phoenix Flower Claw Rose, it has hidden attack methods. Even if the 4 sharks were defeated by the enemy, they could instantly condense their chakra, and like a split, condense into raindrop-sized sharks again, launching an attack towards the enemy. These sharks can not only bite the opponent's body, but can also carry away the opponent's chakra energy. But Kisame Hashigaki didn't feel pleased for long. The smile on his face suddenly froze, only to see that the fireball rolling towards him, another specially made Hiraishin Kunai, quickly rushed towards his face. What? Kisame Hashigaki hurriedly wanted to dodge. Just as he activated his ninjutsu, Samehada's great sword was thrown to the side. It was too late to block. But he had just taken action when an orange figure appeared and instantly landed in front of him, swinging out a powerful punch towards him. Kisame Hashigaki did not dare to receive this kind of attack, hurriedly turned his body to the side to dodge, looking at the fierce fist that dodged Naruto. But Naruto's speed was really too fast. He dodged the punch coming from the opposite side, but couldn't dodge the kick that Naruto almost followed closely behind. Bang! Naruto kicked Kisame's abdomen with great force. Kisame's eyes instantly flew out, blood spurted from his mouth, and his body flew backwards. Unfortunately, this attack's music is too fast. The Monster Force fist needs to instantly condense chakra into the fist or foot. This kind of sidekick attack has no way to use Monster Force. Therefore, this time, although it looked like a fierce attack, it was only Naruto's own strength, and it was not possible to cause fatal damage to Kisame Hashigaki. Naruto, of course, would not let go of such a good attack opportunity. Once again, he charged forward, transforming into an afterimage and charging straight towards Kisame Hashigaki. This speed and strength, what a monster! Kisame Hashigaki was secretly terrified, no longer daring to be the least bit subjective. His body was sent flying backwards at the same time. He reached out and bit off his thumb, rapidly forming several hand seals. The art of spiritualism? As Kisame Hashigaki completed the seal, he slapped the void with one palm. With a loud bang, a white mist exploded, and a large shark about 5 to 6 meters long appeared in front of them, opening its mouth full of sharp teeth and tearing towards Naruto. Naruto did not retreat, but advanced. In his hand, chakra air flow swirled around, rapidly condensing a rotating chakra light ball straight towards the shark that was biting and tearing. Rasengan! Rustle! Rasengan splits the large shark into two, and Naruto also followed the shark's body and passed straight through, his speed not decreasing at all as he charged towards Kisame Hashigaki. Oh no! Kisame Hashigaki's face was filled with fear. He felt regretful for not being afraid of defending against ninjutsu. Although the other end of the big shark is similar to the cracking effect, can absorb the opponent's chakra, but that is also want to be biting to injure the enemy premise below. Right now, even though the big shark split into two, Naruto was still able to reach Kisame Hashigaki in the blink of an eye. But Kisame Hashigaki only felt a huge force coming from his chest, followed by a sudden numbness in his chest, as if a large part of his entire chest was missing, and his entire body flew straight out. Kisame Hashigaki screamed miserably. His body flew in the air and spun around, breaking several large trees behind him, then fell into the water with a swish. Underwater, Kisame Hashigaki only felt a tearing pain in his chest. He lowered his head and looked. All the bones and muscles in his chest had disappeared. The internal organs were floating in the water, clearly visible. Although such injuries were not fatal for the time being, under the situation where the water carried away a large amount of blood from his body, he could feel his body weakening and his life rapidly eroding away. Disgusting. Damn, that damn nine-tails Jinchuriki. Underwater, Kisame Hashigaki rapidly swung his legs, letting himself sink deeper into the water, to avoid being attacked by Naruto again. In this kind of state, if Naruto were to punch him again, he would definitely lose. Must die on the spot. At the same time, Kisame also activated his mind, urging this Samahata great sword to immediately run to save the owner. As long as Samahata is in his hands, and chakra is distributed to him, the body will be. Bones and muscles can grow back in an instant. Kisame, you're still being careless. Itachi Uchiha frowned, his closed eyes opened again. The three-pointed jewel Sharingan transformed into a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan. The left eye in the middle of the shuriken, shaped like a pearl, suddenly moved, staring straight at Naruto's eyes. Rustle equals. In an instant, the entire world suddenly turned into a dark red color. The surrounding trees and scenery rapidly flowed away, transforming into a patch of standing still. Firmly the cross of the earth. Naruto was about to move his body, but found himself tied to the cross, unable to move even a bit. This is illusion? Itachi Uchiha held a samurai long sword in his hand, slowly walking towards Naruto. That's right, you guessed right, this place is my illusionary space. Key. There are 5 Mangekyo Sharingan holders who are talented enough to mount a resistance. This space is all for me to control, as long as I am willing. Can tie you up here for 3 days, 3 nights. Outside is just a blink of the past. Eyes only. Uzumaki Naruto, you have too many unsolved things on you. Today I will. Must be on your body to probe a wall. Itachi Uchiha also did not immediately return the words when he went to Naruto's vicinity. The surrounding scenery was distorted in confusion, and countless Itachi Uchiha figures appeared. Put Naruto in a circle. Each of them held a samurai long sword in their hands, stabbing straight at the enemy. Naruto's body felt like it could collapse at any moment. What exactly do you want to do? Naruto asked in a low voice. Itachi Uchiha's face had no expression, holding the samurai sword in his hand. Straight. Naruto stuck another cross on the wooden board into his waist. The blade did not penetrate the cross. Itachi's tone was full of threat as he said, I will next ask you a few questions. If you are willing to answer me honestly, I will consider letting you leave this space safely. Otherwise, these clones of mine will have to take turns giving up their bodies. You appear a whole bunch of transparent holes. Let you accept this kind of suffering. For 3 days and 3 nights. Naruto's mouth revealed an undetectable smile. Mr. Itachi, are you being too confident in your Mangekyo Sharingan dojutsu? As he spoke, Naruto's Sharingan circled rapidly in his eyes, and Mangekyo Sharingan state has been opened. This is Shursue's gaze? Itachi Uchiha's face was slightly shocked, but very quickly he felt a bit more comfortable. That's right, I thought it a long time ago. Shirsui's right, I was gouged out by Danzo. But, you killed Danzo, this I will naturally fall into your hands. Itachi Uchiha was secretly terrified, not thinking that Naruto would still keep it a secret until now. Just brought Shursui this kind of eyes inside out. Shursui Manjikyu Dojutsu, honored as the strongest Jinjutsu. This Manjikyu unleashed his power, and he used it on Naruto. Tsukuyami Moon Poison Illusion can be dispelled instantly on the spot. At this moment, Naruto had already escaped from the cross's bondage, standing there with a smile on his face, quietly looking at Itachi Uchiha. Although the dark red Tsukuyami Moon Poison space was still retained, it was just that Naruto did not activate the power of his dojutsu. What do you want to ask? You ask, if you can talk I can tell you. Naruto smiled faintly. Itachi's eyes showed a trace of surprise. He had always been obsessed with this nine-tailed Jinchuriki of Konoha. He had a lot of curiosity in his heart. So, wanting to investigate something useful from Naruto's body, he used Tsukuyami, Moon Poison, to pull Naruto into this illusionary space. But now Naruto was able to dispel the Tsukuyami, Moon Poison, illusionary technique. Below, also willing to chat with him, for him to answer questions and explain. Doubt? This Itachi also could not understand a bit. However, Itachi still did not ask too much about the reason, just asked. First question, why did you kill those ninjas and Danzo? Why did Uchiha Sasuke follow you and betray Konoha village? Naruto knew that Itachi, although hiding in the Akatsuki organization, was a spy in Konoha, but for that old man Danzo, he also doesn't have any deep feelings. Anyway, when he forced Itachi to exterminate the entire Uchiha clan, Danzo absolutely wanted to take the credit. So, Naruto told Itachi the whole process of Hinata being captured and going to the base to find a way to rescue her. As for Sasuke, why did he betray Naruto and flee Konoha? Naruto also made up an excuse, saying that Danzo informed Naruto before he died there was a relationship. The truth about the Uchiha clan's extermination is probably related to the upper echelons of Konoha. So after Sasuke knew about these things, he immediately had deep hatred towards Konoha, willing to follow Naruto to escape to Konoha. Itachi Uchiha carefully stared at Naruto's eyes, as if he wanted to say goodbye to Naruto. In the voice found a trace of words of opposition to existence. But unfortunately, when it comes to the plot of this series, Naruto can claim to be an expert. Industry, basically nothing said exposed place will let him see. Itachi Uchiha nodded slightly. So it's like this, I didn't think you and Nine Suk would leave together. Going to Konoha? There are still so many complications in between. Speaking of this, Itachi Uchiha paused slightly. He originally wanted to ask a question. Why did Naruto, at such a young age, suddenly grasp such outstanding strength? This is so strong that it is revealed, but it is already a bit unreasonable. Indeed it is. A little perverted. However, right now, this is all Naruto's private matter. Moreover, Naruto, right now, can leave the Tsukuyami, Moon Poison, illusionary space at any time. Naturally, he would not be willing to answer this kind of sensitive question. Itachi had to ask again. What are you that can naturally use Shursui Sharingan? Naruto raised his chin, pondered for a moment, and did not hide his point, self. But using the Sharingan, this kind of thing, is not that difficult. Kakashi Hatake is not. Can also be done casually. As for me, that is even more different. I possess Hashirama's enhanced cells. So using the Mangekyo Sharingan basically has no side effects. Mr. Itachi, your eyesight, how much has it decreased now? Itachi Uchiha was a bit stunned. All these years of continuously using these eyes abilities, his eyesight had indeed dropped to a very low level. I'm afraid if I can hold on for a few more years, these eyes will be completely blind and crippled. It seems that in such a short time, you have already deeply understood the Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto maintained a calm smile, not denying it. I understand Manjikyu very well. There is no shortage of experienced Manjikyu users compared to you. I also know the secrets of Eternal Mangekyo. Uzumaki Naruto. If I remember correctly, this should be the first time you and I have met. You are facing the enemy who came to capture you. How can you talk to me so calmly? Or rather, why do you have to tell me these things? Itachi Uchiha looked intently at Naruto's eyes, wanting to see some clue from Naruto's eyes. This guy is the same age as his younger brother. His body exudes mystery everywhere, truly making it impossible for anyone to understand. Naruto's brain was racing. and he quickly came up with a reasonable and believable excuse. Mr. Itachi, with your intelligence and talent, you should not be unable to figure out this little matter. I opened up about those dark stories of Konoha from Danzo's mouth, as well as the truth behind the Uchiha clan's extermination. Don't you know that you're actually a spy hiding in Konoha? This time, on Itachi's cold face, a trace of surprise finally appeared. He might not have thought that Danzo would say this before he died. Itachi's sect massacred the entire Uchiha clan, and then let Itachi bear the crime of becoming a spy and hiding in the Akatsuki organization. The only people who knew about this were the third Hokage and Danzo. In Itachi's impression, Danzo was truly a guy who would do anything for the benefit of Konoha. It is because of this that Danzo considers Konoha's affairs more important than his own life. Maybe Danzo actually brought this kind of secret to inform the traitor Uzumaki Naruto. It seems there must be something hidden in it. Why? Why do you know the whole truth behind the matter, but did not inform Sasuke of this? You should know that Itachi's emotions were a bit agitated at this moment. He wanted to say that Naruto must know that he exterminated his entire clan for the sake of peace and stability in Konoha. Another reason is because Danzo and the third personally agreed to let Sasuke have a healthy and good growing up environment. The words were on the tip of his tongue, but Itachi still couldn't say them. This was a secret that had been kept in his heart for many years. Now that an outsider knew about it, he had an indescribable complex feeling in his heart. Naruto looked at Itachi's constantly changing expression and had already guessed what he wanted to ask. You don't need to be so surprised. I didn't tell Sasuke that you had put so much effort into arranging it. I just didn't want to ruin the path you had arranged for him. As for me knowing that Uchiha's increased strength, being close to negative emotions is a stimulant. This shouldn't be strange. Anyway, the various records in Konoha village have quite a lot of content related to your Uchiha clan. Itachi slightly lowered his head, not knowing what he was thinking about. A long while later, he raised his head and looked at Naruto with determined eyes, as if he had already made a decision in his heart. Naruto-kun, you are different from my brother. You have intelligence and strength far surpassing that of a person of this age. You are much more mature in all aspects than my brother. It's just as you guessed. I am indeed a spy arranged by the Konoha Akatsuki organization. However, since Danzo and the third died, no one knows my identity anymore, but now there is another you. According to the intelligence Kisame and I gathered earlier, you must have a pretty good relationship with the current Konoha 5th Hokage, right? Naruto also did not deny. That's right, Tsunade is my master. I learned medical ninjutsu from her. Itachi nodded slightly. Is that so? You really are a bit of a pervert. You can even master healing ninjutsu. Let's not talk about it anymore. Let's go back to what we talked about before. Since you have maintained a close relationship with Konoha, I hope to pass on some information regarding the Akatsuki organization to you here. Naruto was slightly stunned. Akatsuki organization intelligence? Isn't it the Eye of the Moon plan? I really know everything. Itachi Uchiha next opened his mouth to speak, still exactly as Naruto had guessed, explaining clearly to Naruto the Akatsuki organization's purpose of collecting the tailed beasts, as well as all the generals related to the Eye of the Moon plan. During this time, Naruto did not intervene and say anything more. If Naruto knows the truth behind the Uchiha clan's extermination, he can learn it from Danzo's mouth. If Naruto still wanted to continue to show off now and talk about his understanding of the Eye of the Moon plan and Itachi's words, then it would be a bit too unreasonable. At that time, Itachi's first reaction was not whether to believe Naruto or not, but to treat Naruto like a monster. Naruto asked, not understanding. So, Mr. Itachi, you told me these things? Do you want me to report it to Konoha? Itachi gently shook his head. No, I don't have such plans either. This matter is related to the future of the entire ninja world. Such important information cannot be just buried in my hands. Naruto's eyes revealed doubt. What does this mean? What do you mean by buried in your hands? Itachi's mouth revealed a faint smile, but the smile more or less carried a trace of sadness. Nothing. It's just that my body has contracted a serious illness. This illness originated from the Uchiha clan's genetics. It just so happened that I contracted this illness. Naruto-kun, to tell the truth, your guess is not wrong at all. My eyesight has indeed dropped to a very serious level. Moreover, I also don't know when the bloodline disease will take effect and how long this body can endure it. Bloodline disease? Naruto was a bit surprised. Just like Kimimaro, he also had this kind of illness. which was using too much of his Kekkei Genkai ability. His body wouldn't be able to bear the burden, and occasionally he would spit out blood. Itachi, Naruto was a bit helpless. Hearing Itachi's words just now, he had more or less the intention of handing over the funeral arrangements. Could it be that the person he handed over his funeral to was just this Nine-Tails Jinchuriki he had seen once? For Itachi, a guy who has been walking in the darkness for more than a year, would he want to entrust the last ray of light in his heart to himself? Perhaps it was because Naruto's words just now made Itachi completely trust Naruto and Tsunade's relationship. That's why he was able to make such a choice. Perhaps Itachi really couldn't find a suitable partner, so he chose Naruto. But no matter what, Itachi just revealed that trace of a miserable smile. Naruto already understood the deep meaning behind it. Itachi smiled faintly and shook his head. Naruto, what? You show that expression. Are you feeling miserable because of me? The final fate of those born is predetermined to be death. It's just that I left this world a little earlier than others. This is nothing worth suffering for. Pausing for a moment, Itachi continued. Compared to this, Naruto-kun, I have one last question I want to ask you. What does my younger brother Sasuke mean to you? Is he a friend and teammate? Or is he a subordinate worth cultivating? Naruto was stunned for a moment. What did he mean by this question? After handing over the secret Akatsuki organization, you want to entrust Sasuke to yourself? Still saying he had to follow the original work and give Shisui Uchiha's remaining eye to himself? All sorts of thoughts flashed through his mind. But Naruto finally answered in detail. Sasuke to me is no different from other teammates, such as Zabuza, Suigetsu, Haku, Karen, Guren, and the others. They are all my important friends and teammates. I founded this Wave Nation Ninja Village, not because I want to become a local emperor, but simply because I want this village to truly develop. Itachi nodded slightly, revealing a satisfied smile. If Naruto really wanted to please him by saying something like Sasuke was his best friend, it would make Itachi feel that this person was very deceitful. But Naruto can say that he considers all his teammates as friends, and doesn't have a sense of superiority just because he is stronger than everyone else. In Itachi Uchiha's eyes, Naruto was not devoured by material things and power, but was instead a trustworthy person. So that's how it is, Naruto-kun. If that's the case, then the Akatsuki organization's Eye of the Moon plan will be put to a halt by you. I believe with your strength, as long as I give you more time to grow, you will definitely be able to do it. Ah, that's natural. Naruto smiled, without any modesty in his response. Moon Eye plan? What a joke. Let all the ninja continent be tied to the tree of God, forever sleeping in the illusory dream. How could Naruto let this kind of thing happen to him? It's just that it's still very early now, so there's no need to rush to find trouble with the Akatsuki organization for now. Naruto's subordinates. All of their strength has not yet fully developed. Wait until they have achieved something. Each one of them can have strength not inferior to the Akatsuki organization members. This is the real time to attack. As for this maturity time, Naruto believes it won't take too long. Itachi nodded and smiled faintly, feeling more and more fond of Naruto's back. Hearing you so confidently agree, then I am completely at ease. Naruto-kun. Being able to say these words to you here today makes me feel extremely happy. The Tsukuyami moon poison illusion will soon be dispelled. I will here give you a final farewell gift. As he spoke, Itachi Uchiha raised his hand and waved it slightly. His entire body began to twist and split, turning into black crows, circling around Naruto. Among them, a crow on the left eye has a blood-red Kurenai pupil. The pupil inside that shuriken hook is even clearer. Naruto immediately discovered the abnormality in it. Shisui Mangekyo Sharingan. Itachi, are you really going to give this eye to me? Seeing that black crow carrying Mangekyo flapping its wings and flying towards him, Naruto felt an uncontrollable urge in his heart. Two Mangekyo Sharingan, do I want to gather them together? Oh, that's right. This was the last time Shisui and I met. He personally dug it out for me to guarantee. I have kept it until now, and now I have decided to give it to you. Thank you. Then I won't be polite to you. Naruto reached out and caught the crow that was flying towards him. He didn't want the crow to enter his stomach. Itachi's voice rang out once again. No need to thank me, Shisui. Returning this eye to you is the best choice right now. However, the Shisui eye, I have set up a special activation program with it. This is to automatically activate the eye technique for the future when Sasuke and Konoha become enemies. Naruto heard that and immediately understood what Itachi meant. What's self-activating dojutsu? Is just to set Shursue's Manjikyu Kodo Amatsukami, illusionary technique on the body of the Uchiha clan who possesses the Sharingan. As long as an enemy Uchiha clansman appears in the Leaf Village, the Kodo Amatsukami illusion technique will automatically activate. Itachi also did not explain too much to Naruto. He once again spoke in a low voice. Naruto-kun, I have one last favor to ask of you. Sasuke currently doesn't know about my hidden relationship with Konoha. I hope you can continue to keep this secret. Anyway, just let Sasuke hate me and move forward. He will soon have enough strength to defend himself. After saying this, the dark red space rapidly circulated, and in less than a moment, it disappeared without a trace, returning to the scene of a forest with water flowing. Inside, Naruto and Itachi Uchiha had been talking for so long, while the outside world had just passed less than a second. Rustle. Suddenly, a rapid stream of water erupted. Kisame Hashigaki flew straight out from under the water, carrying the Samehada greatsword and slashed towards Naruto once again. The skin and bones in the middle of the chest that were originally missing had all been completely restored through Samehada's greatsword chakra. Only that one place on his chest was very different from his original skin color. One could immediately recognize it. Godi! Damn you nine-tailed brat! Kisame Hashigaki was extremely angry. Ever since he betrayed and escaped to the Hidden Mist Village, he had never suffered such a great loss at the hands of anyone. Although he knew Naruto was extremely formidable, Kisame was still not convinced. After all, he had not used his own great killing moves yet. You really can't remember names for long. Then let me see who the hell should go die. Naruto frowned, stuffed the crow in his hand into his robe, and quickly formed seals with both hands. Multiple shadow clone technique. One after another, shadow clones continuously appeared. In the blink of an eye, 1,000 Naruto shadow clones surrounded Kisame Hashigaki in a circle. Without exchanging any nonsense with the other party, Naruto's shadow clones raised their right hands one by one, chakra flowing around their palms. In less than a moment, each of Naruto's shadow clones' hands had condensed a rotating chakra light sphere, launching attacks in all directions, bombarding towards Kisame Hashigaki. Rasen, Rasengan! This number of shadow clones really makes one's scalp numb. Kisame Hashigaki gritted his teeth, turned his head to look around, and quickly came up with a response. Water clone technique. Great moves, seals, and defensive positions are abundant, but cannot be used in a short time. Kisame Hashigaki quickly formed the water clone hand seal, but the total number was only 4 people, pointing in 4 directions to surround himself. Water prison technique. The 4 water splitters, including the main body, quickly formed seals together. When the 5 Kisame Hashigaki pushed their palms together, a circular water sphere appeared around each person's body. The 5 water balls were tightly connected, rapidly combining into a large water ball, protecting Kisame Hashigaki inside. Rasengan continuously smashed like crazy into the middle of that thick water ball, causing the water ball to splash up with ripples. But Kisame Hashigaki's water prison technique seems to hide a special type of energy that can absorb Rasengan chakra into a part. Under this premise, 1,000 Rasengan continuous bombardment still could not break through Kisame Hashigaki's protective water prison. Even if there are too many shadow clones, it can only be a useless attack. Not only can my water prison absorb the opponent's chakra, it also has an incredibly amazing defensive ability. Thank you for your chakra treatment. As he spoke, the central Kisame Hashigaki left the water dungeon with both hands, and in the midst of the 1,000 shocked Naruto shadow clones, his 2 hands rapidly danced to form the next set of ninjutsu hand seals. Water release great water explosion technique. Boom boom tilde tilde tilde. The stream of water under Kisame Hashigaki's feet instantly shot up into the sky, sending all the surrounding shadow clones flying into the air, continuously exploding into white mist that dissipated without a trace. And Kisame Hashigaki himself also followed the water flow and rushed into the air together, looking down at Naruto from above. Stepping on that stream of water that Naruto fiercely swept away, his 2 hands once again began to dance hand seals. The big mouth of the water style swallows the bird and eats it. The great water style fighting technique. Stop! Kisame! Itachi Uchiha suddenly dodged and appeared beside Kisame Hashigaki, grabbing Kisame's arm. What? Itachi! The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki hasn't even been completed yet. Are you planning to stop? Kisame was confused and didn't understand. Itachi Uchiha did not explain further. He said in a low voice, "Listen to me. Retreat first. Stinky shark, if you have the guts, stay. Today, I will definitely turn you into a rotten shark," Naruto shouted, pointing his thumb down, making a provocative gesture towards Kisame. Cut! Damn nine-tailed Jinchuriki. Kisame Hashigaki was so angry that he gritted his teeth. But he had enough respect for Itachi Uchiha and had no intention of refuting him. Break! Two white mists exploded. Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hashigaki disappeared into the sky. In the surrounding area, because of Kisame Hashigaki's newly condensed chakra in the jungle, after losing the control of the caster, in a flash it scattered towards the surroundings. And in less than a moment, it returned to its original forest appearance. Several kilometers outside the forest, Itachi Uchiha covered his left eye with his hand, and together with Kisame Hashigaki, he jumped forward in the forest, running towards the outskirts of the Land of Waves. What? Itachi, did you use Tsukuyami, moon poison, on the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? Itachi nodded. The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki has the same Mangekyo Sharingan as me, so it can resist my Tsukuyami, moon poison, illusionary technique. Kisame frowned, still somewhat unwilling. But Itachi, even if Tsukuyami, moon poison, is ineffective against the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, don't you still have another type of dojutsu? Moreover, if you and I attack him together, we still have a very high chance of winning. Itachi recovered to his previous cold expression and said, "No, you underestimate that guy. He first split into those two shadow clones, and after taking my younger brother Sasuke away, he took advantage of the time he had just returned to smoothly enter Sage mode. Moreover, I told you before, the Nine-Tails assistant is really proficient in 8 Gates Escape, and just now in the battle between you and me, he really didn't even use 8 Gates Escape." Hearing that, Kisame Hashigaki couldn't help but sweat coldly from his forehead, feeling a little scared. It turns out that Naruto was so arrogant just now, he truly had the qualifications to dare to be arrogant. Under the premise of retaining strength, he was able to beat the two of them into such a miserable state. So if all strength is deployed, wouldn't it be no problem to defeat their Akatsuki organization 3 or 4 times? Although that's what we said, we're not bringing anything back this time. We're afraid we'll be scolded by the leader. Kisame Hashigaki was a bit helpless. Itachi shook his head. Whoever said anything, don't bring it back. We know where the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki is hiding, and we also clearly understand the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki's strength. This is all useful information. As for the leader on the other side, I believe that after knowing the actual situation, he will be able to understand. In the woods, Naruto saw that Itachi Uchiha and the other two had gone far away, so he didn't linger too much. Anyway, on the other side, there is a group of Water Nation ninjas, fighting with their teammates. Currently, the situation is unknown. A few sheiks went to Sasuke's side. Found Sasuke had already fallen into a coma state. Squatting down, he roughly examined Sasuke's injuries. Apart from a broken right wrist and severe internal injuries, he was otherwise uninjured. "He should be fine, you two take him back first." "I understand." The two shadow clones agreed together, one holding Sasuke's arm on one side, and ran towards the new building area. Wow! Flying Thunder God technique activated. Naruto transformed into an orange lightning bolt and disappeared from the spot. Then in the blink of an eye reached the area below the small mountainside. At this moment, on the ground were lying Water Nation ninja everywhere. Some were beaten to death on the spot, and some received different degrees of injuries, emitting continuous groaning sounds, without the ability to fight back. On the contrary, Gurin, Hinata, Suigetsu, and the others were basically all completely unharmed. Except for Karen, who seemed to have been attacked and had her arm chopped off, there were no casualties among the staff. The few of them stood together, quietly staring at the injured people lying on the ground, to guard against any threats that might appear at any time. "Huh, you guys really aren't coming. You took care of all these intruders so quickly?" Naruto laughed and said. Seeing Naruto appear, Hinata's face revealed delight. She ran forward and grabbed Naruto's arm. "Naruto-kun, how are you over there? Are you not hurt?" Naruto shook his head. "No, it's just that Sasuke was slightly injured and has been brought back to the base now." Suetsu hurriedly stepped forward to join in, his face filled with excitement as he asked, "Naruto, I just heard from Karen that one of the two people over there is most likely Kisame Hashigaki from the Mist Village, right? How are those two people? You were beaten away by me? What do you want to do? Naruto looked at Sujetsu silently for a moment. Just looking at this guy's hasty and belligerent expression, Naruto already guessed his intention. He was afraid he had memorized Kisame Hashigaki Samehada's greatsword. Naruto, how could you give up such a good opportunity and let Kisame-senpai escape? Sure enough, as soon as Naruto's voice fell, Suigetsu revealed a heartbroken expression. Since I'm now an ally and comrade with Zabuza-senpai, I can only miss Kisame-senpai Samehada. But right now, I don't know when the time will be right to see him appear again. Karen angrily pointed at Suigetsu's back and shouted, Suigetsu, what do you bastard know? Those two men's auras are both very strong. I'm afraid they both have strength no less than Naruto's. Being able to repel two enemy soldiers is already very formidable, okay? Suigetsu was originally a bit upset. Seeing Karen like that, he hugged her arm and started arguing with her. Naruto was a little reluctant, but this kind of thing had not been surprising for a long time. As for Karen saying 1 against 2, Naruto is lucky to win against 2 people. Naruto himself may not think so. Itachi's Susanoo is indeed powerful. Kisame Hashigaki's water release technique is also indeed powerful. But Naruto did not open the 8 gates release technique, and the last remaining hand, Kodo Amatsukami, was still holding on. It was a 2-on-1 situation that wanted to turn around. Good. You two, keep it quiet. Naruto hurriedly stopped Karen and Suigetsu, saying, Suigetsu, no need to rush. I will help you take back this Samehada greatsword. Suigetsu immediately became excited, not caring that Karen had splashed water all over his head. He turned his head to look at Naruto and said with a smile, Ah, really? Naruto, what you said is true. Of course, I don't need to lie to you. Naruto smiled and nodded. This time, looking at Itachi's face, he let Kisame Hashigaki escape. Next time, I will definitely beat Kisame Hashigaki to submission. Of course, wanting Kisame, such a proud and arrogant guy, to submit to Naruto was basically impossible. If the time comes, Naruto will also consider taking Kisame Hashigaki's life. Naruto-kun, how should we deal with these people? Hinata pulled Naruto's arm, looking around at the fallen mist ninja groaning on the ground, and said. Naruto frowned and pondered for a moment, then said, Let Tizana bring people here first. Capture all the living and throw them into our prison. Don't worry about the dead for now. Let Tizana arrange a random burial place. I understand. Hinata nodded obediently, then immediately ran towards the teaching area on the other side of the building. Zabuza suddenly stepped forward with a worried look on his face and said, Naruto, I have some bad news to tell you. The leader of the ninja squad from the Mist Village has taken the opportunity to escape. Naruto's eyes revealed doubt. Ninja leader? Is it that one-eyed monster? Zabuza nodded slightly. That's right. His name is Ao, which is a long-standing and prestigious Zenin from the Mist Village. The one with the hood over his right eye is not blind. It's just that during the great ninja war that happened that year, the Mist Village ninjas harvested the spoils of war from your Leaf Village ninjas. I heard that I holds one of the 3 great dojutsu powers of the ninja world, and has the same eyes as Miss Hinata. Naruto heard and nodded continuously. When he saw that one-eyed monster, he felt that he looked familiar. Now that Zabuza reminded him like that, he immediately thought of this person. Run then run. Such a person poses no threat to us. Naruto waved his sleeve indifferently. But Zabuza did not feel relieved by Naruto's words. Instead, his expression remained solemn. Suigetsu finally escaped Karen's attack and walked in front of Naruto. Naruto, things are far from being as simple as you think. Since Ao has successfully escaped, then he will definitely return to the Mist Village at the fastest speed to report the situation here. And if our situation here is exposed, I'm afraid we'll have to face endless revenge from the Mist Village. Zabuza nodded and echoed. Naruto, what Suigetsu said is exactly what I'm worried about. The countermeasure you thought of before to increase the strength of the Wave Nation is indeed the fastest and most effective method. But if we have to endure the words of the Mist Village being exterminated, the matter of the Wave Country's ninja village will probably end up as nothing. Naruto frowned slightly. After going through the great battle just now, plus the conversation with Itachi Uchiha, his thoughts were still focused on Konoha and Itachi, not able to pull himself out. Now hearing Zabuza and Suigetsu's explanation, His heart immediately became heavy. The main thing is, as the two people said, Wave Country still needs too much time to develop. Even if a good ninja village base is established, it is only relatively speaking a ninja village in its initial form. If we were to encounter a Kirigakure attack later, it would be an extremely terrifying matter. Not to mention Naruto can take on 1,000 enemies and bring the invading Mist Ninja here to defeat or kill them. But once this grudge deepens, the high-ranking officials of the water country of the Mist Village will probably not be able to sit still and will want to mobilize all their forces to launch a siege against the Wave Country. The ordinary villagers of Wave Country, at that time, were afraid that they would all be affected by the war, and most of them would die because of these problems. Don't worry. I will quickly think of a solution. Let's first deal with the matter at hand. Let's arrest all these guys and put them in jail. Naruto patted Zabuza and Suigetsu's shoulders and said comfortingly. Even though Naruto didn't have a good way to deal with it right now, he couldn't just casually reveal this human feeling, because these guys all have Naruto as their main focus. If even Naruto's heart is in turmoil, then they will probably become even more anxious and restless. Not even a moment later, Tizana brought the villagers to the scene to deal with these Mist Ninja. Everyone, please arrange your work accordingly. Old Tizana, Zabuza, Guren, Suigetsu, Karen, Hinata, and Haku. In 2 hours, we will gather in the conference hall. I have some matters to announce to you. I understand. Tizana, Guren, and the others nodded in agreement, then turned and dispersed. Karen was worried about Sasuke's safety, so she also ran back to her house in the other area and went to heal Sasuke. Naruto brought Hinata and Zabuza back to the base, arranging for them to rest and prepare for battle. Naruto then put himself in the room and started the Mangekyo pupil transplant on his left eye. The implantation method is the same as last time. You gouge out your own eyes and install it yourself. Perhaps it was because these days, Naruto's body's control over Hashirama's cells had increased. But after arranging the Mangekyo's left eye, through his own healing ninjutsu treatment, the left eye's vision immediately recovered. Ding! Congratulations, host. The twin Mangekyo Sharingan transplant has been completed. Kong. Host has launched the scenario selection mission. Please choose below to complete the mission at will. You can get the corresponding mission reward. Mission 1. Resolve the crisis in the Land of Waves. Lead people to the Land of Water. Find Hokage Mizukage to negotiate. Obtain the support of the Hidden Mist Village for the Land of Waves Ninja Village. Complete the mission to get the following rewards. Reward 1. Mangekyo Sharingan compatibility increased to 100%. Reminder. If Mangekyo Sharingan compatibility increases to full point, you can more naturally control all Mangekyo Sharingan abilities. Mission 2. Use a beauty trick to seduce Hokage Mizukage Meitarumi, who is afraid of breaking vases when thrown at a mouse, and put down her prejudice against Zabuza and Suigetsu. Obtain the support of Kirigakure for the establishment of the ninja village in the Land of Waves. Complete the mission to get a reward. Reward 1. The first scum of the ninja world, the title of the male scum. Crazy Little Hinata. Reminder. Open the angry crazy mode. Little Hinata will gain 10,000% attack power. Can fan the host to death with one hand. Choice 3. Make the black turtle withdraw its head. Lead all the ninja team members under your command, and immediately withdraw from the Wave Country camp. To avoid the Wave Country colliding with the hatred of the Mist Village. Complete the mission and get the following rewards. Reward 1. A 10,000-year-old tortoise shell. The host will always be with the tortoise shell from now on. Perform in front of the world as the immortal of the return. The system reminder sound that had not appeared for a long time suddenly rang in Naruto's mind, making Naruto's originally happy smiling face because of obtaining a pair of Mangekyo stiffen on the spot. Although every time the system gives out these mission options, they're all a bit strange, but Naruto was still a bit uncomfortable, couldn't help but twitch the corners of his mouth, feeling angry inside. Hey, system, you haven't come out for so long. What the hell are you doing? Can you be a little more serious? Kong, the system is very serious. Please, host, quickly choose one of the 3 levels of missions to complete. Naruto helplessly shook his head, then looked carefully at the virtual interface in front of him and carefully considered the rankings. Option 1 is to lead people to the water country of the Mist Village to negotiate with Meitarumi. The reward is a 100% compatible Mangekyo Sharingan. If I remember correctly, the system mentioned it before. If Naruto's Mangekyo Sharingan compatibility can reach max level, He can freely change eye color, like normal Uchiha clan members. No need. Tintin stared at a pair of sick eyes running everywhere. This reward selection is considered reliable. The mission content is also considered reliable. Second rank mission content. Use a beauty trick on Mei Terumi, making her afraid of breaking the vase. Please, this kind of mission is very difficult for Naruto. Maybe let Sasuke try it once to have a chance. The scum male reward title and crazy little Hinata something. Naruto did not look straight at it. Such a cute and gentle little Hinata. Why did she become a crazy Yakusha? Thinking back, I feel that the painting style is very wrong. As for the third choice, be a black turtle that retracts its head and get a turtle shell as a reward. What is this thing? Pass by? System. I choose the first rank mission, 11111. Naruto shouted in his heart towards the system, his thoughts continuously clicking on the virtual screen in front of him, pressing a button. Ding! The selected mission is completed. Please host complete the selected mission within 2 months. The system will give you the mission reward. The system's voice once again rang in his mind. And then it also became silent again. The system arranged this kind of mission. It can be said to be very timely, helping Naruto solve the urgent situation. To tell the truth, Naruto had considered it from the beginning, wanting to go to the land of water, first to negotiate with the 5th Mizukage Mei Terumi, using this to end the danger of the land of waves. But the people of the Mist Village always carried arrogance, each and every one of them extremely eager to fight. Even if Naruto can now open Susanoo, wanting to infiltrate the water country alone without being detected, and then find Mei Terumi to negotiate, is truly a very difficult matter. Now, the system arranged this kind of mission for Naruto, which is equivalent to pushing Naruto forward. Make all the pros and cons clear, so that Naruto will not have any hesitation. Although the 3 mission options seemed a bit unusual, they were the only 3 choices Naruto could really make right now. No matter which choice he made, there was no time for Naruto to hesitate. He had to face it positively. The twin implants have been completed, so next it's time for me to take to it like a fish in water. Naruto gently stroked his left eye, moving his pupil to try to observe his surroundings. The right eye is no different. On the contrary, the vision is the same as before, the normal pair of eyes, wanting to see further. With this pair of Mangekyo Sharingan, Naruto could clearly feel his strength increase another notch. As long as Naruto's mind moves, the condensed force can trigger Susanoo to be used. But Naruto did not choose to try it out in the room. Seeing that he had just sent everyone a message about the upcoming meeting, Naruto stood up, opened the door, and headed towards the other side. In the meeting room, Zabuza, Girin, Hinata, Suigetsu, Karen, Haku, Tazana, 7 people, all had already arrived at their destination according to Naruto's orders. They sat around a spacious square conference table, their faces filled with solemnity. Through Suigetsu and Zabuza's previous analysis of the immediate situation, they both knew that the wave country was about to encounter a great disaster, and feared that it would face the danger of national destruction. This kind of story is not sensational talk. Although the Water Nation is ranked second among the 5 great nations, wanting to eliminate a small island nation like the Wave Nation is as easy as turning one's hand. Ninjas who can't even tie a chicken and kill ordinary villagers are like pigs being slaughtered by hunting dogs. At the time when the Wave Country had not yet fully developed its martial arts, even with Naruto and the other 7 extremely powerful ninjas stationed there was no way to protect the lives of everyone in the Wave Country. Tazana knocked on the table and said, forcing out an ugly smile, "I thought of a way to deal with it. Don't blame me for being talkative." The crowd turned their eyes to Tazana. Zabuza said in a low voice, "If there is any solution, Mr. Tazana, then don't fish in troubled waters." Tazana nodded. "Yes, then I will tell you everything. I heard before, doesn't Naruto have some connection with the Leaf Village Ninja? Perhaps Naruto coming forward to seek the 5th Hokage's help might make the 5th Hokage agree and send some of the Leaf Village's military forces to support us." As soon as this was said, Hinata shook her head, immediately interrupting Tazana's words. "No, Mr. Tazana, this method absolutely won't work." Girin and Zabuza's group, after hearing Tazana's suggestion, had a glimmer of hope in their eyes. Hinata's sudden interruption of the story was like a basin of cold water, unintentionally pouring it on everyone's hearts. Girin frowned and asked, "How is it?" "Hinata, I feel that what Mr. Tazana said makes some sense. Judging from Naruto-kun's relationship with the 5th Hokage, Perhaps there really is a chance to convince her. Hinata firmly shook her head, once again denying, "No, this absolutely cannot be done. You guys don't understand the specific situation. That time when Naruto brought Sasuke and me to escape from Konoha, the incident was too big. We have no way to repair our relationship with Konoha, even with Tsunade-sama's help. It's still the same. Right now, in the entire Konoha village, except for those ninjas who are familiar with Naruto-kun and Tsunade-sama's trusted subordinates. The rest of the people are probably hostile towards Naruto-kun. In such a situation, don't even think about relying on the large number of Leaf Village ninjas to come help first. I'm afraid that the two elders of the Leaf Advisory Group will secretly obstruct and cooperate with the Water Country Ninja to launch an attack on the Wave Country." Hinata's words were very reasonable. At the conference table, everyone began to sigh helplessly, not knowing how to deal with the current situation. Safe. Suddenly, the conference room door was pushed open. Naruto walked in from outside, looked at the crowd with a smile on his face, and calmly said, "You all don't need to look so gloomy. I have thought of a solution." "Ah, really? As expected of you, Naruto." Suigetsu excitedly slapped the table and stood up. Suigetsu really didn't like this feeling of powerlessness before his eyes. The rest of the group was the same as Suigetsu. The sadness on their faces instantly disappeared, revealing a trace of joy. Hinata was the most cautious. The first to discover the change in Naruto's eyes, covered her mouth and said in fear, "Naruto-kun, your eyes." Naruto smiled and nodded. Just as you can see, I have successfully obtained a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan, and now my strength has once again increased." Karen's face was filled with surprise. Before Naruto even entered the meeting room, she had clearly felt the powerful chakra aura on Naruto's body. This aura was even more restrained and cold than Naruto's before, as if all his strength was condensed within his body, ready to erupt at any moment. "Naruto, you really are an unbelievable guy." Karen looked in disbelief. The rest of them all had faces full of fear, stunned, and dumbfounded on the spot. Only Zabuza was the first to react, asking Naruto, "Naruto, what exactly is the solution? Tell me quickly." Originally, the country of waves could have developed stably for a very long period of time, but this current situation can be said to have been brought about by Zabuza and Suigetsu. Zabuza inside is a kind guy. In his heart still exists a little guilt. Naruto walked to the main seat, picked up a map stick on the conference table, and pointed at a huge map of the Ninja World continent on the wall. The last spike of the staff stopped at the water country of Miss Ninja Hitayate, forehead treasure, symbol. "My solution is very simple. Now that my strength has increased a lot, I will immediately go to the Hidden Mist Village and sue for peace with the Hidden Mist Village Hokage Mizukichi." "What?" Naruto just said this. Everyone here was once again shocked and almost fell off their chairs. Guren was the first to make a sound of protest. "Naruto, don't be ridiculous. This kind of thing isn't a joke. The 5 great ninja nations have invaded the Water Nation, and it is not like Orochimaru, who has been crippled and abandoned, has such a good base. Going forward, one might not be able to survive." Even Suigetsu slammed the table and stood up, shouting at Naruto, "Guren is right, Naruto. This kind of thing is no joke. We all know that you are very strong. You can single-handedly follow the Konoha base to save Hinata. But the situation in Kirigakure is very different from that in Konoha. Not only is there a group of people with strong strength, but there are also people who don't want to die to complete a mission." Naruto walked back to the main seat and sat down, gently placed the map stick on the table, pressed his hands together, signaling everyone to be quiet. "You guys shouldn't get excited first. Since I can say such a plan, naturally I have some certainty. Even though I had the misfortune of being discovered by the Mist Ninja when I entered the Mist Village before, with my current strength, if I wanted to escape, there would be no one who could stop me." Naruto's words were not bragging, but absolute confidence in his own strength. Susanoo can use absolute defense to open, even if encountering great danger. Can still block the opponent's attack for a while, taking advantage of Flying Thunder God technique to get there. As for the time when Konoha's base restricted the Flying Thunder God technique, it was completely a special case. Under the prerequisite of Danzo's heartlessness, Naruto was unable to successfully escape with Hinata. Suigetsu chuckled softly, slowly sat down, and said, "Is that so? Naruto, I don't know why, but the confidence on your face is really contagious to me. So let me go with you to the water country. I'm still relatively familiar with the terrain over there, At least it can save you a lot of detours. Okay, then consider it as yours. Naruto nodded, not refusing. The main thing is as Suigetsu said. Regarding the situation of the water country, Naruto was completely confused, completely unclear about Mei Terumi's exact location. Having Suigetsu, this guy who had been waiting in the Hidden Mist village before, could really save a lot of time. Then I want to go to Naruto-kun. I'm not sure about your safety. Hinata's face was full of worry. Pulling Naruto's arm, Naruto reached out to touch Hinata's hair and comforted her. Don't worry, I promise you, you will definitely return safely. Otherwise, I will punish you with 100 blows. Hinata's face turned red with embarrassment, and she quickly let go of her hand. What 100 things? Naruto-kun is too careless. Saying such things is making people very embarrassed, okay. Want to say, also must be, because no one locally said go. Hinata thought so in her heart. But it was her own courageous thought that felt really inconvenient. Originally, just slightly showing Kurenai's face. Immediately the whole red like a tomato, all the way spreading to behind the ears. Under the urgent situation, the crowd was not affected by Naruto's intentionally dragging down the atmosphere, and their mood improved. Girin said in a low voice, "How about this, Naruto-kun? Then I'll go with you. At least one more person can help out a bit." Zabuza raised his hand and tightly gripped the large sword beside him, his eyes filled with determination. "I'll go too. How could something like this be without me?" From the worried eyes of that teammate, one could guess that they were worried about Naruto's safety, so they wanted to add another person to provide a layer of protection. But Naruto immediately denied their thoughts and said in a low voice, "All right, you all stop talking. As for the next specific plan, I already have some arrangements. You just follow my words and carry it out. Suigetsu and Karen, you two go together. Follow me to the water country of the Mist Village. Suigetsu is in charge of leading the way. Karen is in charge of scouting. As for Zabuza, Baigu, Hinata, Girin, you guys coordinate with Tizana to act, quickly establish a story in the ninja village of the Land of Waves, and announce the news to the major ninja villages. At the same time, the huge recruitment of ninja mercenaries by the Wave Country was also a time. The point should appear at the Great Mercenary Nation's mission column inside. Good, we understand. Zabuza and Girin glanced at each other and nodded together. Head, no more words. They also know in their hearts that Naruto's current arrangement is the most appropriate solution. Only first completely pull up the Wave Country Ninja Village camp, then the new power supply will not be exposed passively. Let's all do our best together. I hope that next time we return, we can see each other again. Our Wave Nation Ring Village is in great turmoil. Naruto stood up and walked out of the meeting room. Suigetsu and Karen both went to prepare. Go ahead and start the journey. Our destination is Tuichi Quack Village. Fuck! Karen followed Naruto behind, breathing heavily, muttering. Really? It was originally. Wanted to stay in Songchi Quack for a while, didn't think it would come so soon. Immediately want to go out to work hard. Suigetsu walked up to Karen, smiled casually, and said, Karen, I see you don't want to stay in the Land of Waves to rest, but simply want to stay and take care of Sasuke. Having her thoughts broken, Karen's face immediately turned red. She stammered and pointed at Suigetsu to protest. He said, rolling around, bastard, what nonsense are you talking about? I don't want to stay. I'll take care of Sasuke again. I just don't want to get involved if I go out. Suigetsu looked extremely doubtful, staring straight at Karen. Really? Could it be? I'm not willing to believe it, haha. Russell. Karen was so angry that she punched Suigetsu in the face, knocking his head off. Let the foam splash everywhere. Bastard, you dare to talk nonsense again? I will definitely have to fight you. As if feeling that beating Suigetsu still wasn't enough, Karen grabbed Suigetsu's neck. Use force to shake continuously. Naruto turned his head, somewhat helplessly looking at the two people and said, Karen, you two don't make a fuss. Quickly go back and prepare a little ceremony. We are about to set off. As if suddenly remembering something, Naruto looked at Karen and asked, Karen, how is Sasuke's injury? What? No problem. Only then did Karen stop fighting with Suigetsu and nodded, saying, Don't worry, apart from his cracked wrist and a few cracked ribs, his injuries are not serious. Naruto nodded. Good. Let's immediately start preparing to leave. Karen and Suigetsu also knew the seriousness of the matter and did not continue to argue. Noisy. Each one headed towards his own room. 10 minutes later, Naruto and his group finished packing their equipment, immediately loaded their luggage on their backs, and started heading towards the Wave Country Sea Area port. Huh? Those two big ships? Look like they are the battleships from the Mist Village. Suigetsu pointed to the shore of the harbor next to two large ships, frowning and speaking in a low voice. Speak. Karen and Naruto also discovered the two boats and quickly walked towards the other side. Run past. Karen said, this is also the Mist Village. Those guys ran away too fast. They didn't have time to steer all the ships away. Naruto nodded slightly. Just right, let's save money and rent a boat and find someone. Just row the boat directly to take us out. Yes, I feel like this can be done. Suigetsu agreed and walked quickly. Head towards the port and store in the warehouse on the other side. These villagers of Wave Country are very familiar with Naruto and his group. That boatman heard that he can steer the boat for Naruto, and the others go out. Other Ring Village do things. His emotions revealed unusual excitement, patted his chest mouth full. Respond down. Get ready. Take the wheel and start. The boatman shouted, brought the other two crew members, pulled the spear boat up from the sea, then began to change the sails and set off towards the other side of the water country. On the boat, Naruto, Karen, and Suigetsu sat on the bow of the ship, quietly looking out at the boundless sea. The strong sea breeze occasionally blew across the sea, causing hair and clothes to flutter. But this small island country of waves, the temperature of the air in the four seasons does not change too much, so it does not bring people a feeling of cold. On the contrary, it is extremely comfortable. Karen, prepare to open the divine Ida sense. Let's see if we can catch up to those fleeing Mist Village ninja. Naruto turned his head to look at Karen and said in a low voice, okay, I'll listen to you. Karen nodded slightly, not intending to refuse Naruto. She closed her eyes and opened her senses, beginning to explore this boundless sea. Suigetsu looked at Naruto and asked in a low voice, Naruto, do you want to capture that old guy again and let him take us all to the land of water? Naruto nodded slightly. That's right, although you come from the Mist Village. But in the past few years, no one knew what the current Mist Village had on its scope. Big change. If we can capture Hokage Mizuki's left and right hands, then for us, absolutely more benefits than harm. Suigetsu carefully thought for a moment, then said in a low voice, that's right, those people might have run away for a long time. If we want to catch up to them, I'm afraid it will be a bit difficult. As soon as Suigetsu finished speaking, Karen opened her tightly closed eyes, withdrawing from the divine eye's perception state. Karen shook her head. No, within a radius of 10 kilometers. I can't sense anything. Ninja Oro exists. It seems those guys have all run far away. Naruto waved his sleeves indifferently. It doesn't matter, you guys said it before. Ayo, that group of ninja were all injured, probably their speed of advance. Also, of course, will be because of that. But slow down. As long as we speed up, we will definitely have a chance to catch up with them. Then I will go and let the boatman speed up. Suigetsu stood up. Direction of the steering wheel. Suigetsu was very clear in his heart. Naruto mentioned this kind of situation. It was very possible. Big will happen. From Songchi Quoc to Tui Chi Quoc, all roads are available, and you need to take a boat to travel. A week. There is no way. Who told Tui Chi Quoc's geographical location to be extremely remote, growing in this island above where? That's right, long time no check-in. Come check in and see if I can get some good rewards. Naruto muttered to himself in his heart, then immediately shouted to the system. System, start helping me, Mark? Come. 7 days of accumulation mark completed. Now start to give you the mark reward. Reward 1. Ica Paradise. Paradise of Lust. Above the book times 1. Reward 2. Explosion Talisman times 3. Reward 3. Fuma Shuriken times 3. Reward 4. Army Food Pill times 3. Reward 5. Hexagonal Shuriken times 3. Reward 6. Miss Ball times 3. Reward 7. Would release ninjutsu. Would clone technique. The system's voice prompts continuously rang out in Naruto's mind. Ica Paradise. Idle Paradise? This thing makes me go. Naruto had nothing more to say. He was no longer surprised by the system's love of doing random things. However, in the end, the harvest of a would-release ninjutsu, would-clone technique was still considered to be relatively satisfying. Would-release would-clone, compared to shadow clone and lightning-release shadow clone. The level should be even higher. However, this would-clone technique can not only use all ninjutsu from the main body, but can also conduct real-time remote communication with the main body. Unlike the shadow clone, only after the shadow clone was defeated, All the clones knew the news, and were able to return to the main body's mind. Name, Uzumaki Naruto. Age, 13 years old. Mu attribute ninjutsu. Rasengan, multiple shadow clone, Hiration. Physical technique. Konoha flowing physical technique. 8 gates release. Fire element ninjutsu. Flame bullet. Phoenix fire. Water element ninjutsu. Water clone. Water formation wall. Water dragon strike. Earth element ninjutsu. Heart decapitation. Earth flowing wall. Earth dragon spear. Wind element ninjutsu. Strong wind palm. Strong wind wave. Rasen shuriken. Lightning element ninjutsu. Go. Lightning release shadow clone. Wood release ninjutsu. Heavenly wax technique. Wooden claw. Wood clone. Kekiai Genkai. Hashirama cells. Uzumaki clan bloodline power. Mangekyo Sharingan. 50% compatibility. Ability. Kodo Amatsukami. Susanoo Kin. Opening the system panel to look at his own attributes. Naruto was relatively satisfied with his own strength. This time, the water country of the Mist Journey, with Susanoo as the premise, should not have too many surprises. The most important problem now is how to convince Mei Terumi to give up her pursuit of these two traitorous ninjas, Zabuza and Suigetsu. If I remember correctly, this Hokage Mizukage Mei Terumi is also a somewhat bold-tempered ruler. Who knows if at that time there will be a disagreement. We can only fight and use force to make the other party submit. After Suigetsu gave the other boatman a warning, the boat's current operating speed had already increased to its fastest. Karen opened her divine eye and sensed her surroundings, but did not detect any Mist Village ninjas. It seemed that the group of people were really scared out of their wits. Their escape speed had already reached its fastest. In a short time, there is no chance of catching up with those people. Very quickly, the sunlight slowly fell from the west coast, and dusk was approaching. The wooden door of the small cabin on the ship was open from the inside. A young-looking boy in his 20s waved towards Naruto and the others and shouted, "Sir Naruto, the food is ready. We can start eating." Naruto nodded slightly. "Good. You guys have worked hard." The young boy's face was full of smiles. He shook his head vigorously and said, "It's not hard, Lord Naruto. The Wave Country's development today is all thanks to you. We are the ones who handle some small matters for you. It's natural." Naruto stood up and shouted to Suigetsu and Karen, "Let's go. Let's go eat something first and then talk." Suigetsu followed Naruto's steps closely and said with a smile, "No problem. I just happen to be hungry." Karen couldn't help but spit out, "Suigetsu, can you stop just eating rice?" Wave Country, newly renovated conference room inside the hall. Hinata, Gurin, Haku, Zabuza, and the others were also helping Tizana sort out some materials, preparing to announce the establishment of ninja villages to the major countries. These documents, once completed, were teleported to the great ninja villages of the ninja world and placed in the hands of each of the great ninja groups. Regardless of whether those great nations are willing to acknowledge the fact that Wave Nation's ninja village was established or not. This matter has already been decided. From now on, the news of the establishment of the ninja village in the Wave Country spread throughout the ninja world. The Wave Country could also recruit wandering ninjas back and slowly begin to restore order to the village. "Mr. Tizana, I've sorted it out for you. You can send out the documents tomorrow." Hinata handed over a thick file to Tizana. Gurin also followed closely behind, holding the part in his hand and handing it to Tizana. "Ah, I have also arranged this side well." Tizana received the two documents, extremely satisfied, and smiled and nodded. "Good. Then I will also let people start the journey tonight. Bring these things out first and then talk." In a certain room, lying on a hospital bed, Uchiha Sasuke leisurely opened his eyes and turned his head to look around. Itachi Uchiha. Disgusting. Sasuke tried to support his injured body and sat up from the bed. In his mind, he recalled the previous humiliation Itachi Uchiha had given him. He immediately clenched his teeth, wishing he could immediately chop Itachi Uchiha into 1,000 pieces. Am I really that weak? Sasuke lowered his head, his body trembling in confusion. Faced with the blow Itachi Uchiha gave him today, the last line of defense in his heart had completely collapsed. If my strength really exists with such a big gap between me and Itachi Uchiha, then what have all my efforts these past years been for? Even though after mastering several powerful great ninjutsu, like lightning release, Sasuke's strength compared to before had increased by a huge level. But today, when facing Itachi Uchiha during the day, I had no strength to fight back at all and was completely led by the nose by the opponent. Hideous! Hideous! Why did things turn out like this? Sasuke muttered to himself. He suddenly raised his head, stood up and walked to the table, picked up the paper and pen on the table, used his uninjured wrist, and began to write the following text on the paper. Naruto, thank you for your care and help these past few days. I am truly grateful. And Hinata and everyone, I am also very grateful to you all for being able to treat me sincerely. But I decided I wanted to go. I wanted to go to a place more suitable for my training and growth. Then complete my revenge on Itachi Uchiha. Maybe if I just go straight like that, it will make you all feel very uncomfortable. But there is no way. I have no reason not to go. A few simple lines of text, but filled with Sasuke's helplessness towards the situation at hand. After placing the teapot on the scrap paper, Sasuke stood up and began to pack his clothes. In less than a moment, Sasuke put his luggage on his back, jumped out the window, and disappeared into the darkness of the night. On the sea, a spacious warship sailed forward. Although the sky had completely fallen into darkness, the ship had long-range headlights that were firing at the surrounding situation, allowing the general surroundings to be seen. After finishing eating, Naruto took out a fishing rod from the cabin and went to the stern of the ship to start casting his line, preparing to fish to kill some boredom. Boom boom tilde tilde tilde. A long time later, floating on the water, being pulled by the boat to take a certain amount of back-flowing fish bladder, suddenly pulled to the bottom of the water. Finally taken the bait, Naruto chuckled and then laughed again, quickly starting to retract the handle. In less than a moment, a 2 to 3 pound golden fish was pulled out of the water, hanging on the hook, constantly struggling and wriggling its body, trying to find a chance to escape. Brat, you don't have a chance to run today, so save some food for us tomorrow, Naruto muttered, took the fish off the hook and placed it in a bucket of water. Just as Naruto was about to throw the can again and start the next round of fishing, Karen and Suigetsu suddenly came out of the cabin and ran quickly towards Naruto. Naruto, we have found their whereabouts. Not far ahead, Karen said hurriedly. Naruto turned his head in surprise to look at the two people and asked, how many of them are there in total? Karen, adding the boatman and the rower. There should be only 5 or 6 people in total, Suigetsu hurriedly asked. How is it? Naruto, do you want to immediately head towards the past? I've been itching for it for a while now. Naruto pondered for a moment, then nodded and said, good. The 3 of us will pick up our luggage and immediately start walking on the sea. As soon as possible, we will quietly board their boat and control those people. As for this boat, Suigetsu, you go tell the boatman uncle. Let them set off immediately to return to the starting point. The next journey won't need their help. Suigetsu nodded slightly. Okay, no problem. Very quickly, Naruto and his group finished handling everything, jumped down from the deck of the ship, and stepped on the waves to quickly move forward. For ninja, the running speed of the foot is much faster than the speed of a boat. Therefore, in less than 10 minutes, Naruto and the other 3 were able to clearly see the headlights of the ship in front. Naruto waved his hand to signal to continue walking, quietly climbing onto the deck without being discovered by anyone. Inside the small cabin on the ship, 6 missed ninja, almost every single one of them was seriously injured. Although they had spent the afternoon traveling and had already bandaged their wounds, there was no good ninja healer at their disposal and no way to treat their injuries, causing them to let out a series of groans. Captain Tan, those ninjas of the wave country, each and every one of them are such perverts. That's right. I really didn't expect that Zabuza and the others' strength would already be this strong. If we had known that this would be the case, we really should have summoned more Anbu personnel. In the cabin of these missed village ninja, a group of them let out dissatisfied complaints, expressing their sorrows. Stop arguing, have a good rest, and recover soon. Ao reluctantly shook his head and sighed. Just like these guys said, each of those ninjas from the wave country have extremely powerful abilities. Not to mention the Hyuga clan's little girl. Her soft fist was extremely powerful, bringing close combat to its limits, with almost no flaws leaking out. And there was that green-robed woman. What kind of ninjutsu was she using to crystallize the surrounding matter? Zabuza is even more exaggerated. He can make his body exude a large amount of green steam. The speed is so fast that the naked eye cannot capture it. Combined with Zabuza's large sword, he charged into their mist ninja camp, creating an almost merciless massacre. Luckily, Ao reacted quickly at that time. After realizing that the situation was not right, he immediately brought a few confidants and secretly escaped. If he continued to stay there and fight with that group of perverts, he was afraid that he and these people would be completely wiped out. Looks like we must quickly return to the hidden mist village and report this matter to Mizuki-sama, so she can make a decision. Ao was very clear. This time the hatred between the village of mist and the country of waves was completely over. Also not knowing the hot-tempered Hokage Mizuki made Hiromi. When she learned that the 300th AMBU platoon had almost all lost, also not knowing what kind of thing she would do next. Break! Suddenly, the deck door suddenly made a loud noise. The entire door was smashed open by someone from the outside. Wooden blocks flew everywhere behind. I'm sorry. You guys probably won't be able to meet your Hokage Mizuki-sama for a while. Naruto just took a step in from outside, looked at Ao with a smile on his face, and said in a low voice. Suigetsu and Karen followed closely behind, standing one on the left and one on the right beside Naruto, their faces full of cat-like expressions, constantly glancing at the 6 ninjas across from them. Disgusting. You guys. When the hell? Seeing the person appear, Ao was instantly startled. In the afternoon, when Suigetsu displayed his strength at the Land of Waves, Ao actually saw it with his own eyes. Mizu's one-handed body flicker technique can move very quickly, making it impossible for people to easily catch his whereabouts. As for that blonde kid standing in the middle, seeing how he looks, just like Suigetsu and that female leader, his strength will probably be even more powerful. Thinking of this, Ao's heart immediately felt like cold ashes. But he didn't want to give up so easily. He took out a kunai from his ninja tool bag and shouted to his subordinates, "Fight the enemy with all your might." Those mist ninjas all had fear on their faces, but they still seriously carried out Ao's orders, taking out their kunai and preparing to fight. Suigetsu, do it. Leave the survivors. Just make them lose their freedom of action and ability. As Naruto spoke, his body turned into an afterimage and flew straight towards Ao. So fast. Face pale with shock, this blonde-haired teenager's speed is really perverted enough. Before he could react, he felt a heavy punch in the chest, and then his body flew backwards, smashing a wooden table into pieces. He lay on the ground, writhing in pain and groaning. At the same time, Suigetsu's speed was also not slow at all. His figure continuously flashed, waving his palm to knock on the necks of the remaining mist ninja, instantly knocking them all unconscious. You! What exactly do you want? Ao tried to suppress the pain on his body, struggling with the thought of crawling up. Those eyes? Are you from the Uchiha clan? The light in the cabin was not very good until now. Ao just discovered Naruto's pair of Kurenai 3-hooked Jade Sharingan. Naruto slowly walked towards Ao and patted his shoulder, saying in a low voice, "What kind of person I am? You don't need to care. You just need to know what you have to do next, which is to bring me and my 2 teammates together into the Mist Village and help me guide you to Lord Hokage Mizuki. Otherwise, your teammates will really immediately lose their lives. You want to see Lord Mizuki? Do you want to harm him?" Ao was not a fool. Hearing Naruto's words, he immediately realized Naruto's evil intentions. Naruto shook his head. "Don't worry, I won't do something like killing your Mizuki-sama. I just have some things I want to talk to her about. It's not as complicated as you think." Even though Naruto chose to give this kind of verbal guarantee, Ao still felt unwilling to believe it in his heart. However, in the eyes of the people, their lives are all in the hands of others. He also confessed that he had nothing to do with gambling. Gritting his teeth, he finally nodded and agreed. "All right then, I can agree with you. But you have to make sure I and my teammates are safe." Suigetsu laughed and couldn't help but mock him. I didn't think Senior Chin would still be so fearful of death. I thought that with your strong personality, even if you were killed on the spot, you wouldn't submit to us." Ao glared at Sisha, gritting his teeth in anger. "Suigetsu, you traitor from the Mist Village, you still have the shame to open your mouth to speak. If it weren't for capturing you and that Zabuza guy, things wouldn't have turned out like this." Suigetsu just casually waved his sleeve. "Senior Tan, don't say such harsh words. Like that, traitor or not, it's all you guys defining me. Just got bored of waiting in the Mist Village. Wanted to go out and play a bit. Yes. You were just remembering the 7 swordsmen of the mist." Karen immediately spat out. She really did understand a bit of Suigetsu's old history through Girin's mouth. Suigetsu immediately went crazy. Hey, Karen, what do you mean? Why did you destroy my platform? Cut. I'm telling the truth. Are you unhappy about this? Karen hugged her arms, pretending like nothing happened. All right, you two, stop making noise. Seeing that this pair of idiots were about to start arguing again, Naruto took the opportunity to interrupt them and immediately began giving orders. You guys first move those ninjas to the underground warehouse floor. As for Captain Tan, I'll have to trouble you to stay with us. Naruto had just entered and had already roughly scanned the surroundings. The boat they had ridden on was exactly the same style as the one they had previously taken. So there was also a specially designed place for people to rest on the ground floor of the warehouse, except that it was the type of multi-person wooden bed, probably for the workers who drove the boat to stay in. Now separate AO and his companions. Also save them from having any bad intentions, giving rise to the idea of running away. Suigetsu didn't say anything more. He clamped one hand on the other and headed towards the stairs leading to the underground storage room. Karen was a little dissatisfied and complained, saying that the old man had given orders to her to scream and shout, and let her, a female student, do this kind of hard work as a porter. But her hand was still not idle. She lifted a ninja armpit and took it away. Follow Suigetsu footsteps. Very quickly, the matter was completely resolved. The already severely injured Ao was hit by Naruto's heavy blow just now, and couldn't resist for long before falling to the ground and falling into a coma. Naruto, I heard that his Sharingan is very good at using illusions. Can he? After you transplanted these eyes, why didn't you directly use illusion on Senior Tan? The art of yielding. Where does he submit to us? Suigetsu stepped forward and asked Naruto. Naruto shook his head. It's not as simple as you think. Even if I transplant the Sharingan, it doesn't mean that I can be like the Uchiha clan's ninja, completely proficient in illusions, and can freely use illusions to control others. Naruto himself is not a Genjutsu-type ninja, in Shirsue's case this. After a pair of Manjikyu, illusion magic can really be used. But compared to the ninja type of illusionary technique, Naruto's illusionary. The more you want to waste your energy, the more you waste your life force. Furthermore, if one wants to maintain the opponent's control using illusion magic for a long time, this kind of thing becomes even more difficult. If this kind of thing were to be changed to Itachi Uchiha, it would be completely different. Simple one thing. There is also one person who probably won't be too much of a waste of effort. That is the masked man Obito Uchiha. The fourth Mizukage in the Village of the Mist spread those cruel policies. Wasn't it also because he was hit by Obito's Genjutsu, being controlled for many years, that he became like this? Except for the two of them. Who else would want to complete this kind of thing? This, I'm afraid, is a very difficult thing. At least the second pillar Uchiha Sasuke couldn't do it. Danzo also said. The second pillar. Compared to Itachi illusion technique, it's trash. Is that so? Then I'll go to sleep first. Suigetsu replied to Naruto, but after listening he felt like he was in a fog. But this wasn't something he was paying attention to. After covering his mouth and yawning, he found a place to lie down and rest. Naruto and Karen then found a place to sleep. The next 6 days went by without any further surprises. The boat sailed on the sea, and by the 5th day, it had successfully reached the territory of the Water Kingdom. However, this place may not have reached the Water Kingdom yet. It is still on the sea surface. It was just that the patrol boat from the Mist Village on the sea stopped them. At Naruto, all three of them used transformation technique, transforming into ninjas from the Mist Village. Then Suigetsu pressed down on Ao and used Shurgan's hand to support his back. To oppress later, Ao was forced to go out and negotiate with the other party. Only then did they let Naruto and his group of people pass by boat. The truth proved that Naruto's previous intention of capturing Ao and forcing them to enter the land of water was correct. If Naruto and his group had come by boat, they would have been caught by this patrol team. Check below, immediately will be exposed, and with the opponent to fight. It is certain that it can be beaten, but before reaching the target, the whereabouts have been completely revealed, which is somewhat inappropriate. By then, just as you step into the territory of the water country, I'm afraid Hokage Mizukage, Maiterumi, had sent out the entire Mist Village's elite troops, waiting to welcome them. You come, just wait for me to hit you with heavy punch. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique. Early on Friday morning, when the boat smoothly reached the port, Naruto formed a Shadow Clone hand seal and 3 shadow clones fluttered out from beside him. You 3 are responsible for going and watching over those Mist Village ninjas below. Naruto waved his hand to the shadow clone. I alone. The shadow clones group exclaimed in agreement, and several of them jumped in. Next floor, sit cross-legged on the ground, habitually open and begin to absorb up natural energy. I arrange it like this, you have no objections, right? Captain Tan, after all, it is still. I want some insurance to be fair. Naruto smiled and looked over at Ao. Ao reluctantly nodded. I understand. I can understand. In fact, in his heart, he hated Naruto to the point of gritting his teeth. In his heart, he told himself, didn't he just want to keep them as hostages? Okay, then let's get started. Naruto waved his hand, signaling his 2 teammates. Still, Suigetsu was pressing Ao down, while Naruto and the other 3 used transformation. Technique, transform into the appearance of a mist ninja. Water Nation is indeed worthy of being ranked among the 5 great nations. Every ship that enters the port must go through strict screening. However, most of those ninja knew Ao and Ao's status in the Mist Village. Still very not low. So there is a special rule to exempt from inspection, directly put into the office later. Stop at one side idle, then boat ranks inside. Next, it was a whole day of traveling on the mainland, because Ao's injuries had not yet fully recovered. The group of people were able to coordinate with his speed. Until noon the next day, they entered from the main gate of the Mist Village. The Mist Village castle is made of dense bricks. Compared to Konoha, the kind of beautiful wood material made main door, although not so beautiful. But the safety factor is obviously higher on several levels. However, I don't know if this side style is so wild, or if the people of the Mist Village are short of money, so they can't afford to coat the brick wall with a layer of white precipitated paint. This looks a bit outdated no matter how you look at it. Follow Ao into the Mist Village, then continue to slowly walk forward. Set. This place's architecture is also very different from Konoha. Each mud-style house, somewhat rare in appearance, is located in different places. The streets above the villagers compared to the villagers of Konoha, on the surface, missing smiling face. Or rather, in this place these villagers on the face do not see the sewing machine has that kind. Feeling happy, they just walked with their heads down, as if they had something urgent to take care of. Uniform. This made Naruto unable to help but wonder, could it be that the 3rd Hokage's propaganda of the fire while brainwashing really has such miraculous effects? Karen also noticed the unusual atmosphere around them and couldn't help but say, why are all these people's faces devoid of smiles? Are they in such a hurry to reincarnate? As soon as these words left his mouth, Suigetsu was immediately shocked and quickly covered Karen's mouth with one hand. But there were still quite a few villagers around who heard Karen's words and couldn't help but throw their eyes at Byakugan. Ha ha ha, it's really inconvenient, everyone. She just drank too much today. Please forgive her. Suigetsu kept bowing and smiling apologetically. What are you doing? Why do you have to apologize to those people? Karen lifted Suigetsu's hand and rubbed her mouth in disgust. Who knew that Suigetsu, who always quarreled with Karen, did not give Karen a good look this time, and said coldly, they are just some ordinary villagers. Do you need to speak so harshly? They did not offend you, so you still have such sympathy. Karen still wanted to open her mouth to mock, but Naruto quickly turned his head and glared at her, interrupting her words. Karen, stop arguing. I know. Boo! Karen muttered in dissatisfaction, but didn't dare say anything more. It is possible that one realizes one's own fault with hindsight. Next, the 4 people once again slowly began to walk forward. Suigetsu also began to explain to Naruto and Karen why the climate here was so different. All the reasons are also because of the 4th Mizukage's tyrannical rule at that time. Core. Not only did the ninja school apply a cruel assessment system, but it also applied to the water country. Within all the bloodline limit clans carried out massacres and persecutions. There the villagers were taxed year after year, but many people were forced to starve to death. Having gone through these unbearable pasts, the villagers naturally only considered survival as the most important thing. And they all went out in groups just to do their own work. Some wanted to go out fishing, some wanted to go out chopping wood. In short, these villagers of Tuichi Quoc all live relatively realistic lives in the eyes of only make money. These 2 words, make money to eat to get to calm. Although it is said that the 5th Hokage has completely abolished a series of policies of the previous Hokage. But she has not been on the throne for long after all. And to completely change the situation here, it will still take a very long process. Sujitsu, I never thought that even though you were a traitor ninja, you would still remember what happened in the village. Ao smiled faintly, looking at Sujitsu with a new layer of eyes. Sujitsu scratched his head. Senior Tan, looking at you. I left the Mist Village, can I? No matter what, this place is still my hometown, and Karen and you before. I told you I only left to find a sword ring. Ha ha ha. At this time, the four people had already crossed the street and arrived at a large square. Sujitsu glanced around and frowned. That's not right. Tan Tien. Boss. This place isn't the road leading to the Mizuki's workplace. Ah, already found something unusual? But calculating the time, it's not too far off. A strange smile appeared at the corner of Ao's mouth. His words that were both out of place and out of place made the three people present tense up. Karen. Naruto looked towards Karen, his eyes signaling. Karen immediately understood, closed her eyes, and began to spread her senses around. Not good. There is a large number of ninjas surrounding us. The number is at least no less than 1,000, and the distance is less than 4 kilometers. Karen herself is a sensing ninja without opening her divine eye. She can only sense the chakra aura of close-range ninjas. Like this kind of situation several kilometers away, Karen still has no way to casually investigate. Senior Tan, what do you mean? Do you really not want to live? Suigetsu was a little angry as he grabbed Ao's neck. Suigetsu, don't attack. We're not here to kill people. Naruto immediately interrupted Suigetsu's actions, looked at Ao and asked in a low voice, Can you tell me, how are you doing under the circumstances we do not know clearly? The Mist Ninja Village sent out a distress signal. I'll snit, looking like he had already disregarded life and death. Cut. How could Lord Mizuki let you see it so casually? Judging from your intentions, you have no good intentions. Moreover, what we sent out wasn't a rescue signal, but a level 1 sentry signal towards our Mist Ninja Village. Although this should be a secret only known to us Kirigakure Ninja. But you guys are going to die here anyway, so telling you guys is irrelevant, ha ha ha. Signal sentry only requires a simple hand gesture, and it can be easily completed. Karen immediately became angry. If I had known, I would have chopped off your hands first. Naruto stopped Karen again, looked at Ao, and said with a faint smile, Do you really think that the three of us will die here? Are you too confident in your Wave Nation ninja? Or do you think that I really can't deal with your Mist Villages more than 1,000 ninja? Suigetsu on the side hugged his straight arm and hummed, his face full of disdain as he added, I'm afraid you still don't know that our Naruto in Konoha has a famous mad killer. He can kill all of the several thousand elite ninja in one go, even the people from the Mist Village. Could they be any stronger than those several thousand ninja in the same place? What? You are Konoha Ninetales Jinchuriki. Ao's face immediately turned pale. Hearing Suigetsu mention this, he just remembered that Konoha really had such a character. When Konoha encountered a sneak attack, he betrayed and fled Konoha together with a guy named Orochimaru. Perhaps after seeing Naruto's pair of Sharingan. Ao's subjective consciousness immediately thought that Naruto was a member of the Uchiha clan and did not have any thoughts of looking to the Ninetales for help. That's right, Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto. I should have thought of it. Ao now started to feel a little regretful. He now really had some doubts. The secret signal he used to summon these ninja. Did he have the ability to take down these three people? Still speaking, just like Suigetsu said, the entire ninja association that ran to the Mist Village was annihilated. While the people were talking, there were quite a few fast-moving Mist ninjas who had already arrived at the large courtyard and were approaching Naruto's group. Ao was immediately shocked. He died in the other party's hands without any problems. On the contrary, this time the mission failed. He also had no face to return to see Lord Mizuki. But if he drags his fellow Mist ninjas into the water and gets dealt with by this Uzumaki Naruto today, then he can truly be considered a sinner. Naruto glanced around at the approaching Kirigakure ninja, then slowly said to Ao, You don't need to be so nervous. I told you a long time ago that we didn't come here to kill anyone today. And we definitely didn't come here to cause trouble in Kirigakure. So we won't be making a move this time. But you better bring those guys back immediately. Tell the Hokage Mizuki-sama. Let her come out to see me. Otherwise, whether I can really make a move next time, then I can't say. After saying this, Naruto grabbed Suigetsu and Karen's arms with one hand. Let's go. Wow. Flying Thunder God technique activated. Naruto carried two people. Their figures flashed and disappeared from sight. Next moment, 3 people appeared on the path they had just passed. Suigetsu scratched his head and asked with some doubt, Naruto, why did you just say those words? If those words really reached Mizuki's ears, she would probably get even angrier and not easily give up on us, right? Karen looked at Suigetsu with some disdain and said, You really are a wooden fish? Even if we admit defeat and call our parents to kneel down and beg, will the 5th Mizuki be willing to come out and see us? With her like this, it's better to make her angry enough to kick her. Naturally, she will quickly appear. Am I right, Naruto? Naruto nodded slightly. Yes, you guessed it right, but there is one thing. What I just said is not to kill anyone. That is also my true thought. After all, we are here to kill someone. Killing someone on someone else's territory, there is still some unspeakable wrongdoing. However, I'm afraid this matter is unavoidable. We'll see how the situation goes later. As he spoke, Naruto patted Suigetsu's shoulder and ordered, Suigetsu, it's time for you to come into play. Lead the way. We'll go to the Mizuki building's office. B.A. What are you saying? That brat is actually so brazenly threatening me in the Water Kingdom's territory? In the Mizuki's office, the poor desk was hit by Meitarumi until it vibrated. A long crack appeared. Hearing the signal sent from his subordinates to the AO place, Meitarumi immediately sent out her directly subordinate Umbu troops towards the signal location of the AO place. Just caught up not long ago, but was already escaped by the opponent? Moreover, he also sent her a message. The other party's leading little devil dared to suppress her and force her to go out to meet him? Chojuro, come with me and see. That so-called Konoha nine-tailed Jinchuriki. Just how powerful is he? Meitarumi suddenly stood up, shaking the pair of white rabbits in front of her chest. This made Chojuro, who had just understood the relationship between men and women, blush and tremble. Yes, Lord Mizuki. Meitarumi quickly walked out the door. Just as she reached the door, she turned her head and said to the kneeling Umbu ninja in a deep voice, Summon all the staff who are not on duty today. All breaks are canceled, and investigate those 3 guys in the entire city. That's right. They might use transformation technique, mix around in the crowd, and immediately question anyone they see suspicious. Angry is angry, but Meitarumi is still Hokage Mizuki after all, still fully rational. Knowing that Naruto was the one who could kill thousands of Konoha's base ninjas, she still didn't want to let her side's ninja personnel suffer too many casualties, so she chose to take the initiative to go find him. Yes, Lord Mizuki, the Umbu ninja loudly agreed. On the other side, Naruto and Karen, under Suigetsu's lead, began to walk towards the Mizuki's work area. But not long after leaving, they encountered the first wave of ninjas who came here to attack the Mist Village. That was a 12-man squad. They charged forward, and before Naruto and Suigetsu's men could hold on for 2 minutes, the entire army was wiped out. However, this entire army was wiped out, not killing them all, but only injuring them, temporarily making them lose their ability to act. But after Naruto 3 people finished off the first chasing squad, they hadn't even run forward for long when a second squad appeared ahead to block the attack. This time, there were 100 people in the team. Even though they had more people, they didn't rush forward to fight. It was as if they wanted to stall for time, waiting for their teammates to come and help. Suigetsu immediately clenched his hair in frustration. No way, Naruto! Do we really want to fight like this over and over again? When will we fight until then?